Because you've got powerful legs. How'd you get the physique? Was it gym or how'd you get the physique?
I've always been...
She's actually not got powerful legs. Do you shower in your dressing room? Do you have a shower on the day of a fight or not? Tell us about the tattoos.
Shut the fuck up, you little prick.
But then I've got the Phoenix.
Hey, prick.
So I'll take it from Bob every day of the week.
Absolute disgrace.
I'm sure no one will mind.
Move him out of here, Darren.
Ricky Hatton didn't go over for his fighter because he risked getting abducted and sold into sexual
I never said that.
Both have been rape victims. I'm not watching Frank Buglioni live on Saturday night. You're out of your mind.
Jesus Christ, get yourself a life.
He's actually a priest.
Yeah.
It's because his brother John Fury eye gouged him.
What have I told you all this time? He's going to end up sucked out, fucked out, looking for a handout.
Boxing nutters messenger group. I'm gonna be the king.
J-Pump. You know what I'm saying?
Welcome, everybody, to the 548th edition of the Boxing Asylum Nuthouse, where we shower before we podcast.
You might.
Smelly fuck. Joining us today, Steve Wellings, Andy Patterson. I'm Matt DiGiannato. You can find us everywhere you find your podcast. You're obviously here. You found us somewhere. Congratulations to you. You're in for one hell of a treat. Somehow these guys managed to watch a fair bit of boxing. I looked at what was going on this weekend and I said, you know what? My life has not deteriorated so much that I'm watching Harlem Eubank against Timo Schwarzkopf on a Friday afternoon. So I think I did dishes and listened to Barry Manilow instead. Andy, tell me what you saw in that fight between Schwarzkopf and Eubank. Shockingly, Eubank getting the stoppage. That's what I think is the story.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what, I was sitting there Friday night actually, ready for my bed, and I thought Eubank was going to finish at early doors. Had Schwarzkopf down the third, I think it was, and you're thinking, he had him going as well. He was swinging in some heavy hooks and some uppercuts, and you're thinking, we're in for an early night here, hopefully. And then it kind of dragged on a little bit. He's landing a few low blows, Eubank that is, a couple of straight right hands, straying low. Ends up getting a point deducted, and you're thinking, oh Christ, he's going to take it to the distance again. So no early night, but he did get it done in the end. 11th round, ends the fight, drops Schwarzkopf in the 11th round. So decentish performance. You know, it was a solid enough test. Schwarzkopf's usually durable. He will take your rounds. Never really, well, that was the first time he was stopped, I think. So yeah, it's a good test in that regard. And he picks up some sort of ranking and belt as well with the WBO. So he'll be in the top 10. By the end of the month, early next month, and that, and onwards and upwards. So 140, he is making slight improvements. I will admit with that, with Eubank at least. Wee bit of pressure as well. It was in front of his home crowd and that. So it's good that he actually kind of got the stoppage, because I did think it was dragging on a little bit. And I think the crowd were getting a wee bit not so much disinterested, but you know how by how quiet it was, they weren't really kind of engaged in that. So
well, really, it was 11:30 at night, Andy.
Well, that is that as well. But the thing is, you still had the main event to go.
I know. That's what I was going to say. So it's 11:30 at night. This shit's wrapping up. Remarkably, going to a stoppage. Not many people saw that coming. And are you going to go and grab the train and go home, or are you going to sit here and watch more boxing?
Well, I tell you, I crawled to my bed that night, mate. 11:30. As soon as that fight ended, I was straight up to my cot. That was me finished for the night, honestly. It dragged on. It definitely dragged on, to be fair. And plus, as well, I waited till 10 o'clock at night waiting for that fight to happen. Like Steve, I was kind of like dallying with a Russian card and that, but I was something for like your typical 7 hours, and I like paused it that many times because I had many things to do and that work and family stuff. I just sacked it off in the end.
Yeah, it sounds like a long night for you guys. Steve, how much did you partake in, sir?
Yeah, I was similar to Andy. I partook of the main event itself. I enjoy a Friday fight night. I've said this before. Sauerlands haven't really grasped the mantle and taken on the baton from Fat Mick regarding great fights, although I think they are getting slightly better. Some of the things they were putting on early when they got the contract was absolute shite, but I think this was decent enough. But Andy picked up on a point there which I hadn't thought about this time. We have discussed in the past, but he's right about these main events. They just start far too late, even for people at home. And it's a talking point and something that we discussed in the past. So I'm not going to go on it too much, but your average sort of working person, they've been at work all week, all day, had a couple of beers, fallen asleep on the sofa by 11 o'clock, or by the time these kind of fights are starting, or even getting home, like you said. The arena seemed a bit flat. It seemed like people were rushing out as fast as they could to get home, jumping in the car if you have a bit of a drive, or you have to get on the train or the bus or whatever it is. It's not conducive with a positive
The main event wasn't even ready to go, mate. It wasn't like, they did like a 5-10 minute build up before that, maybe even longer before they even got the fight started.
Exactly right. It's something that's always annoyed me about boxing. I mean, I love going to a show like the next person, but I have got a bit of sympathy for some of the guys. I know Glyn Leach from the Boxing Monthly got like this in the end, and he said he preferred to watch shows from home. Even Danny Flexen, like I was watching the Seconds Out stream during the week, and he said for various reasons, he just prefers watching the fights at home. And I know I sound like a miserable old bastard in my early 40s now, but just even going to the shows, and when they drag out between fights, there's nothing more dispiriting than when you're at a show and it's okay, there's decent enough fights, but they're dragging out like a 4-rounder, a local kid against a Latvian, and the next fight coming on, is going to be an 8-rounder against some fellow with more losses than wins, and they're like, we're now going to take a 20-minute break.
Oh. What's your worst case, mate? I'll tell you mine right now was the Josh Taylor against Victor Post all card. That was one of the worst dragged out shows ever, man. It was so bad that the botchery in the stands was incredible. People were basically falling all over the place, absolutely hammered, because that's all they could do was either go sniff lines or drink alcohol. That's all they could do, mate.
Speaking of, Ricky Graville in with the $4.99 super chat. Thanks, Rick.
I have one other thing to add actually as well on this. I can't remember the exact show. I'm trying to look it up now, but Andy mentioned about worst shows. At least on that one, he was looking forward to Josh Taylor against Victor Postol. I remember going to a fight once in Belfast in the Short Social Club and Leisure Centre in East Belfast. It was an Alio Wilton show. And I think there was about 4 fights on the card that night. And it was the same night as Hey Bellew 2. So whenever there's a big fight going on and you're going with one of the smaller shows, you're already a little bit irked as it is because you're thinking everyone's at home, Twittering away or WhatsApping away about the fight. And I'm here watching a lower standard. I'm happy to do that. But this one, there was, like I said, there's about 4 fights on the card. They said they were going to put Hay versus Bellew on in the bar. They didn't. The show started, supposed to start at 7, didn't start till like 8:30, 8:45, and they dragged the arse out of those 4 fights. It didn't finish till about midnight in the end. And at one point, it got that bad. In between fights, they put a bottle of vodka in the middle of the ring, and they had a game where everyone had to roll pound coins towards the bottle of vodka. And whoever's got closest, Andy, to it won the bottle of vodka. And journeyman Alec Baza was in charge of watching the coins roll to see who won. And I questioned my boxing fandom that night.
Was that not the same night that you were titled Mr. Award-winning Steve Wellens? Did you get
No.
night? No,
that was a different one. That was in the Europa Hotel. That was about 2 years earlier when Mark
Dunlop
at a dinner show. That was this. This was a different.
Yeah, but history there for you, Matty. The Europa Hotel in Belfast, the most bombed-out hotel in this side of the Western Europe. It was bombed. It's been bombed more times than what fucking Nazi Germany was, by the way.
God. We'll never forget. Anyway, sorry, Matty. Where was I again? Harlem Eubank.
You had me thinking there. Do you remember? I don't know if you guys stayed awake for the De La Hoya Pacquiao fight. On normal times over here. But if you recall the undercard bouts on that one went a total of 5 fucking rounds. So you had about an hour and a half between the last stoppage and the ring walks for Pacquiao De La Hoya. That was fucking madness.
Well, while you mention that, again, I've probably told this story on the pod before, but we've got a bit of time to kill, so I'll go on it. 2010, I think it was, Christmas, Martin Lindsay fought John Simpson. Andy, I remember Scotland's John Simpson. Lindsay was the British featherweight champion.
What
John
a fight
Simpson
that was.
came over. Fantastic fight it was that night in the King's Hall. It was right before Christmas, about 4 days before Christmas. It was hammering down with snow outside in Belfast that night. It was freezing cold. Sky televised it. They had the undercard on. I think Tony Jeffries, if you remember him, the Olympian, was the support act, the main support act fighting Tommy Tolan. The fight went about 2 or 3 rounds. There was, I'm sure I'm not exaggerating this, there must have been close on an hour and 15 to an hour and a half break before the final fight and the main event because of Sky TV. And the whole night just went on that long. They had the main event. It was fantastic. Simpson won the title, went home. And then they had about 4 float fights afterwards still to go on. And the night just never wouldn't end. It got to a point, right? It was 12:10 at night. Sky TV had put away all their equipment and their gear. All the cameras had gone. The speakers had gone. They were literally cleaning up the side of the ring while the last 2 guys were fighting. They put away the sound equipment. So the MC, who was Gary Logan, couldn't even announce the winner for the last fight. That's how late it had got. And we went out into the snow, managed to get home about 2 o'clock in the morning, completely soaked. So, yeah, see these fights. We've done our penance, Matty, as best as we can.
Well,
we've ploughed some fields back in our time, by the way.
Yeah, you only have so many in you at the end of the day, and I think my last one was a few years ago. Again,
but honestly, I mean, I'll never forget that Postal Taylor fight. You must have waited an hour for that fight to start. And that was a Channel 5 show as well, I'm sure. It will be actually. McGuigan said the Channel 5 deal at the time, I'm pretty certain of it. And we hung on and hung better on. Honestly, God, man. Yeah, Tommy fucking hanging there fences, man, absolutely gassed. There was boys there for Belfast I knew absolutely hammered and that waiting for the main event to happen. It was just an absolute shitfest. And remember as well when the time Taylor fought Vasquez at Ingleson Market, Tommy ended up doing it at fucking Edinburgh Airport runway. Phoning me, I'm lost, I don't know where I am. Fucking, he did it at the end of Edinburgh Airport runway.
Hijack a plane. Oh dear. Yeah, Matty, I better say my piece on Harlem Eubank. Respect to Harlem, actually. He did against Timo Schwarzkopf. It wasn't a bad fight. It had twists and turns, as Andy said. That was the most exciting thing about it. Eubank dropped him in the 3rd round. I can't remember the exact shot, but he definitely had him buzzed up a little bit. Lost a point then in the 5th round for low blows. Schwarzkopf is one of these guys. He'd never been stopped before. He wasn't a puncher, but he was tough. He was strong. He was landing left hands to the body. And I think this was a good gut check for Harlem Eubank in the end, especially coming back from that kind of adversity. Looked like it was going to go down the stretch, showed little different wrinkles to his game. And then he landed a really good right hand out the blue in the 11th. Well, I say out the blue. The tide was shifting in his direction, but in the 11th round, lovely shot. Schwarzkopf to put everything into the fight, and his legs just absolutely went, and so they managed to get him out of there. WBO Global Super Lightweight title was on the line, vacant, no surprise there. Absolute shite. He was calling out Conor Benn afterwards, I think. I mean, who isn't? We've got Chris Eubank up for Bellew of the week as well. Sean McComb's name's been mentioned. Dalton Smith, I think, is the British and Commonwealth champion, so lots of fights to be made if possible. But I like Eubank. I think the weight of that name hangs heavy around the head, so the bear and the Eubank, but he's done well for himself, and he's a nice little boxer. He's moved up. He's had decent wins at the right times. Egbenike, Sean Dodd, Martin McDonough, Tom Farrell, not world-beating names, but he's managed to get them one by one, and Schwarzkopf was a nice step up for him, and to be the first man to stop him, I think that was a relative statement, so I'll be interested to see now at 19-0 what the Sarahlands do next with Harlem Eubank.
Yeah, I can only imagine what Senior's appearance is going to be in the Bellew. It's just an odd guy, you don't know, can't pin it. He's just like, would you be shocked to learn that English has a gimp in the basement? Like, if that came out, like, would you be like, wow, or be like, yeah?
Nothing surprised me what Chris Eubank has got in the basement, by the way. Nothing. This is a guy, as I said the story before, who walked down for the palatial staircase in the Brighton Hotel with his underpants on in front of a crowded restaurant and say to this person, look, they remember me. Of course I remember. You're a black man walking down the stairs naked with a set of pants on. Of course I remember who you are.
Yeah, I went down a fucking YouTube rabbit hole, which happens to be sometimes And I rewatched the clip at the press conference with him versus Nas and Ingle jumping in, and fuck me, is a comedy gold. Like, he comes in late to the press conference, he's holding a cane, he sets about Nazim Hamid calling, he's a snide, he's treating me badly, he's a very snide person. And then Ingle jumps in, he's like, Johnny Nelson stood on your head, you stole from Nas, blah blah blah. And then the funniest thing about it is Eubank turns around to Frank Warren and he's like, Frank, do you want to comment on this? And Frank's like, no grass. He's like, I wasn't fucking there, was I?
And David Palmer sneaking there with a $9.99 super chat. It says, per Ricky's suggestion, Steve, to go towards some drinks next time you go to a show. Yeah, that next time you find yourself writing for a show, there you go.
I don't drink, but some of these shows could drive you to drink.
Well, you could. What's a bottle of water cost at one of these shows now over there? £5?
I'm gonna say probably about $5. Yeah, David Palmer needs to put in extra few quid, I think.
Yeah.
Look at Daisy's mentioned in the chat, by the way.
What's that? This one?
Oh,
Kevin Anderson.
Oh, it was Kenny. I thought it was Kenny Anderson he was going to mention. Remember, I used to get asked that question.
Remember Kevin Anderson fought Ali Numbembe, didn't he? He was around that sort of David Barnes here. I think he fought Eamon McGee in Eamon's final fight, actually. Kevin Anderson, decent Sky fighter.
Jesus fuck, we're going off the deep end anyhow. It's Dez is a fountain of knowledge, though. Jesus Christ, man. Some of the stuff you guys remember is incredible. Was there anything else on that card, Andy, that you feel worth speaking on?
No, I didn't catch anything else, mate. As I says, it was time for my caught by the time that main event started. Where was Undercard getting shown anyway? Was it YouTube? I never caught any, to be fair.
I think they showed some of it afterwards, didn't they? Like highlights and stuff of Lerone.
Was it the stream or whatever? No, I don't know, possibly, mate. But yeah, still had Roman Fury going after that fight. I was just staying up for basically a debutante, really. Really. So as nothing else to report for there, mate.
David Palmer tossing in another $9.99. Steve, he says, fine, 2 bottles of water. So if you aren't hydrated the next time you go to a
I'll just say something, by the way, Steve.
Wow.
I'll just say something. I was at Glen Eagles last weekend, right, for 2 nights, and it was £5 for a bottle of water. Right?
Sake.
So there you go, mate. Go to Glen Eagles and get yourself 2 bottles of water up there. It's an Evian glass bottle as well. So
hopefully it's holy water for that person.
I'll tell you what makes no fucking sense over here that's bizarre. So if you go into the gas station, the petrol station as you might call it, and you walk into their little convenience store, like your regular bottles of just water are more expensive than the bottles of water with some sort of a flavoring in them and some sort of a non-natural sweetener, which tells you that the non-natural sweetener and flavor has to be cheaper than actual water for that to make sense, which is kind of frightening.
No, it just means they don't want you to have the healthy shit. They want to kill you. That's what that is.
I remember watching Top Gear one year, and Jeremy Clarkson's over in America, and he walks out the garage with this cheese sandwich, and he starts reading the ingredients on the back, and it says something about the cheese, saying it was like cheese, like fake cheese, or whatever. I forget the word, and I was like, really? They actually put this shit in the fucking food over there, Matty? Is it really that bad?
Sorry, I was looking at Snoop Bob's comment.
Margaret Robbie's bathwater.
Snoop Bob says $5
Lazzy all
for
fucking
water.
hyped up over it.
Gargle her bad week.
Snoop Bob says £5 for water, for fuck's sake. Better be Marco Robbie's bathwater.
Hey, and you're paying about $2.50 service tax on top of that.
See the thing about America that freaked me out the most? It wasn't the guns and the gangs and the fucking crack and the fucking fentanyl.
You listen to hip hop. You were well prepared for that reality.
Yeah. No, it wasn't all that. It was that if you're watching TV late at night, they'll be advertising products that are medical products. They're like, are you feeling bloated? Do you sometimes need to go to the bathroom late at night? Here comes Bloxamil or whatever. And it's like, and they run the side effects under the fucking screen and it goes, side effects include death. I'm like, hold on, what? Side effects include death? I don't think I'm going to try this one.
Yeah,
I'll just sit this indigestion out.
I'll deal with my leg shaking underneath me randomly for 5
They
minutes.
see this shit on the fucking TV. Side effects might include death. I'm like, fuck me, this is not a wind-up. This is the real telly. Get me out of here.
I think it was somewhere around 1990, Rob, they passed a law that said that you could advertise for medical shit on television, and then it was just like a fucking flood. And that's what, allowed for the rise of boner pills. It's just like everyone out there is like, fuck, I can look at Bob Dole. Bob Dole's fucking his wife. Bob Dole's like 80. So you're telling me I take this little blue pill and I can fuck my wife again instead of her going to that young fellow that lives down the block and is back from his sophomore year of college. Well, that's a positive. I'll take that pill. And they sold a shit ton of Viagra because of that fucking law, because all these people could have a boner again, thinking they could keep their wives, not realizing no, they just sucked in bed whether they were hard or not.
Adrian Boner here. Fuck me, he's got it a fucking. Jesus.
The chats are actually talking about boxing. This is us.
That's how bad it's got.
So anyway, back to Harlem Eubank.
We've tried that about 3 times now. Just come back to my Gleneagles trip, by the way. You talking about me saying about Broner? I was fucked out looking for a handout after that trip to Gleneagles, by the way. Trust me on that one. Somebody needs to put a concert on for me, by the way, a benefit concert after that weekend.
So, Andy, you said you didn't catch the undercard.
No.
What had you distracted?
What was I watching, actually, to be fair?
Were you watching? Oh, I thought you were watching something else. Let's see here. So that was on Friday. Yesterday there was
the Russian card, sorry,
on.
But Steve caught most of that. I was kind of flipping back and forward between that shit, to be
fair.
Fuck
it, let's go back, because that was actually on Monday. Heading back on our fucking time machine, Monday, Russia. Steve, what was happening other than people being pissed off that their brother's been taken into a war?
No, I don't think there was many pissed off people. It looked quite nice, actually. It was Sochi. I think they had the Winter Olympics there a few years ago, not far away from Krasnodar.
Those people ain't getting drafted, Steve.
Yeah, no. They had the flag was being flown and all. They were proud to be Russian on Monday evening, from what I saw anyway. So
Steve doesn't know what's going on in Russia, but it looks nice.
It does,
You better watch. You might get sold into sexual slavery. They keep slagging them off.
So Butayev was back
Yes.
in action. I don't think I've seen him since the Stanionis fight.
No, he hasn't fought since the Stanionis fight, but they got him out here, and he looked really good against this guy, Fazlidin Gayabnazarov. Now, this guy here, Faizi, is 32 years of age, from Uzbekistan. There was a lot of Uzbekistan support in the crowd. They were really enjoying themselves. Now, this guy, I'd forgotten about him, actually, but as the fight was going on, not for very long, I think it ended in the 4th round, they retired him, but it was becoming clearer. So he turned pro with Top Rank in 2017. This guy, Nazarov, he actually won a gold medal in the 2016 Olympics. Bob Arum liked the look of him, brought him over to America. He had quite a few fights. And then in 2019, it all fell apart for him. He lost a unanimous decision to Michael Fox. Since then, he's been jobbing. He's been over in Kazakhstan, Russia, last couple in Uzbekistan. And then he returned against Butayev. He'd been out for about a year or so. He was way over the weight. He shouldn't be at this weight. He's really a super lightweight at best. And this was up at 154. He was small. He was fat, but he could fight. He let the shots go well. He just hadn't got the power or the physicality to deal with a beast. As we all know, Butayev is. He just kept walking him down, hitting him as hard and as fast and as often as he could. And in the end, they pulled Gayabnazarov out. So what they're going to do with Butayev next, I don't know. As I said, he's Russian, so he's not going to get too many opportunities. Also, another fight of note on there was some quite interesting context, actually. Most of the time, I hadn't got a clue who was fighting, but Hasanboy Duzmartov, he's a 105-pounder, moved to 6-0 with a points win over Sifamandla Balani, who's from South Africa. Good little fighter. Nice, honest little scrap, this one. Duzmartov seems to be going places. Again, just another one who needs to be kept active, similar to Butayev. Like I said, the others, they were decent fights, but I sort of had them on 2-speed because I wasn't really familiar with the body of work. But as for Butayev, he's back out in action now. Stanionis was his last fight. We all know he's going to be a handful for people. We saw what he did to Jamal James. But the opportunity for Russian fighters in America is going to be non-existent. So the local promoters are going to have to do something with him, I think, until this little thing blows over.
You better look at the rankings and find the highest rated Panamanian welterweight there, Steve.
Yeah, exactly. I saw somebody from. Let me have a look. Actually, where he is in the rankings. Oh, it doesn't say. He's not ranked by anybody. They've excommunicated him altogether. So yeah, he doesn't exist. Butayev, as far as we're concerned.
Well, he'd been out of the ring for quite a while. I mean, in fucking Stanionis, I guess the same amount of time at this point, which was ridiculous. No fault of Stanionis.
18 months or so, knocking on, really. 16 months, yeah.
Well, and then that Keith Thurman planned pay-per-view fight as for in the Showtime as one of the last events is apparently not happening. Which maybe wherever they're trying to land this deal, maybe they're trying to go out, trying to come in with a bang like they did.
Fuck off with Keith Thurman if they're trying to land anything. Fuck what market value is he bringing to Netflix these days? Fuck off, man.
Anyone who will take the time, anyone who will
take
take the time to take a picture with me and what appears to be a mentally retarded adult is good in my book.
No, I had one there. I said it better not.
No, let it go. I think, Matty, just again, another subject we've talked about ad nauseum on this podcast, but the inactivity is just absolutely crippling for whatever reason. In Butte, of reasons, it's political for the guys, it's injuries, it's politics, and they're just cripplingly inactive. There's no sharpness.
It's also money. You got to think
but there's that as well. But with the title of the show the other night, they picture Shakur Stevenson and see the future of boxing. We don't know because he doesn't fight often enough. He doesn't fight, the top guys. It's going to take him a long time to get a body of work together. It's going to make him the number one focal point in the sport. And Matt is right as well about the money. You've got the biggest fights having to be taking place in Saudi Arabia on state funds because there is zero cash in either this country or America that's going to satisfy the needs of these fighters or these people to get these fights made. Maybe Spence Crawford, that type of thing as well, but the other ones, like you've got the heavyweight title fights happening abroad. You've got this heavyweight card meant to be happening abroad and that as well. There seems to be zero money left in this country to make these events happen.
Well, and what really pisses me off at the end of the day is the fact that this is just I blame this like basically it all roots back to the PBC, even though their cards are great. Praise be when it comes to the action that they actually give us, because their PBC cards are typically the highest quality that we see on a fight by fight basis. But what happened is when Showtime and HBO kind of got into a bidding war for all these fights and this talent, and Showtime basically got HBO to submit, and they're thinking, oh, ha, we won this, decades old battle between us and HBO boxing, when all they ultimately did is fuck themselves in the future because it was ridiculous. Too much money was going out the door on ridiculous fights. Nobody should have told Andre Berto, hey, we'll give you $1 million to fight Freddie Hernandez. No, they should have said, hey, if you want to stay busy, fight with Freddie Hernandez, we'll give you $50 a prostitute and a sandwich.
Remember the Floyd Mayweather deal? Was it $250 million with Showtime? It was so many fights, and then it was so bad in terms of the opponents and that, in terms of trying to bring in the numbers and that. He had to go and fight Pacquiao. They had to try and claw that money back somehow. And they finished it off with the Berto fight in that as well. Nobody wanted to see that fight.
And the funniest thing about Floyd is as well, I think it was the other week, wasn't it, when that young kid, what do you call him, Mouton, was fighting, I think, one of his new prospects, and Floyd went on that whole rant that I think Rob referenced, and Floyd was going, nobody believed in me, nobody believed in Floyd Mayweather, only so much, as if he's like this hard done to kind of guy or something. Like, fuck me, Floyd.
But it's interesting to bring Floyd into it because Floyd, of course, coined the phrase of it takes 6 months to build a pay-per-view fight, which is correct. And if you're Floyd Mayweather and you're fighting Oscar De La Hoya or you're fighting Ricky Hatton, then you probably do need 6 months to build a pay-per-view fight. But if you're like one of the Charlos or fucking, do you know what I mean? Who's really fucking sitting at home clamoring like that for you to be fighting fucking once every 6 months? You need to be active, like get people to give a shit about you. It's not like they're fucking waiting on the edge of their seat for the next Charlo outing on pay-per-view. Do you get me? You're not thinking about Charlos, but it's that kind of.
I mean, I know it's no pay-per-view next week, right? But see that BT card that Frank Warren's putting on. That's actually decent fare, right? And that's what's in you guys. That should be the standard for every week in Britain in terms of our shows and that. Right? Obviously, if you get a world title card, that type of thing, okay, I understand. Maybe it goes pay-per-view, but that really should be the standard every week, but Frank Warren's putting on next week. But other than that, mate, it's usually filled with like crap and stuff that just drags. I mean, the Massud Frank show next week's going to drag on a bit longer, to be fair, like probably 2 in the morning at this rate. But you know what I'm saying? Some of that stuff that Eddie had on last week and this week, it's been bloody awful. And let's be honest as well, some of the stuff that Frank's put on early on in the year and that as well has been bloody awful as well. And we've mentioned Sky often enough and that as well. They've been shite.
Yeah, I think what Rob says makes sense as well. Whenever Floyd was marinating these fights, it was the very highest level, big money fights. And yeah, you can understand with these kind of names. And then you've got Charlo, as he says again, or Thurman, or someone sitting on the couch. Charlo marinating, oh, come on, we can't rush a fight with me and Francisco, not Francisco Montiel, Juan Montiel or Jose Montiel, or whoever it was. Like, come on, man, get a move on. You've been at the ring for 14 months now. We don't have to
I know.
marinate this shit anymore.
I think Thurman's been given like a #1 ranking, I think, possibly.
He's been marinated for a few years, I think, Thurman, hasn't he?
Oh, he's in a jar.
What do you call it, though? But the thing about, you mentioned Shakur earlier, like, he's not active enough. Definitely not. But the thing about it, I like about him, he wants to get the fucking fight made. I saw an interview with him and Gareth Day Davis, which was one of the most fucking awkward encounters of all time, by the way. And that's saying something for Gareth Day Davis, but Stevenson didn't really know what to make of him, that way. But he was asking him about a potential Davis fight, and he was like, "Listen, Davis is the A side. Like, he's the #1 guy for the pay-per-view outside Canelo in America. So I can't make any demands. I'm ready when the fight's here. Like, and I'll take whatever when that fight comes." And I kind of like that, like, because. Do you know, they're all like fucking Haney's like a mini Mayweather and fucking like they've all tried it, like, but we've said it time and time again on the pod. Floyd was able to behave and act like that and come across as credible because he was talking the talk and walking the walk. I mean, to a degree, he got a lot of flack when he was an active fighter too, rightly so. I remember he got fucking absolute hell for the Marquez fight that time. Then he went retired for a couple of years. That Showtime run, as Andy said. So he wasn't, to be honest, without his critics, but he was always training and he was always bringing guaranteed box office fucking revenue. And he definitely fucking, I think the fighters that came after him dropped the ball a little bit. Like, I really do think that crop of welterweights, like Thurman, like Danny Garcia, should be probably
they all wanted his
known.
Money, mate. They all wanted his money with putting in the same effort that he did. Now, the thing is, you're right, Floyd could get a lot of shit aimed at him, but one thing you could not was his dedication. He was ready to go whenever he was ready to go, and he had his own problems with his hands and that, but one thing he was never lacking was, you say, star power, putting on a show. Okay, the fight maybe wasn't always a show and that, but everybody was paying to watch. Everybody wanted to see him get beat.
Yep.
Beside his fans, at least, and that as well,
Yeah, and he understood his position, and he
played the heel.
Exactly. He built his own star in that by playing the bad guy, didn't he? Like, he saw that was going to be the fucking. And he probably is a bad guy too. I don't think he was playing, but you get what I'm saying. But all these guys, like, they basically they're copying his mannerisms and stuff, like, and his mannerisms, his sayings, his fucking shit that he's doing outside the ring without actually fucking realizing that he had years under Aaron where he wasn't a star. Like, he had fucking Oscar. He was in the shadow. He was a better fighter than probably everybody in the sport, but Oscar was getting more money and other guys were getting more money, and he had to fucking figure out a way to figure it out for himself, a bit like Crawford in a different way. Like, but
fucking Broner thought all he had to do was just turn up, do a bit of pad work, eat at McDonald's, drink a big massive cup of cola, and that was him, Floyd Mayweather. He forgot to say to himself, I need to go for a run and get this shit off me now.
But it was even like even Spence, like the way they matched Spence, like before the fucking accident and all this, fucker was fighting once a year, nearly once or twice a year, was he? Like, it wasn't like he was fucking super active either. I think we touched on it loads over the pod on the last couple of months because of the direction that the sport's going. It's just that fucking fighters got overpaid. Good for them and all, because they're getting punched in the head. They should get loads of money, but we shouldn't have to fucking suffer because of it. That way.
Yeah, I know, mate. We just saying that somebody just mentioned in the chat. There's $7 million for Mikey Garcia against Sandor Martin. $7 million.
That's outrageous, man.
Think about that, man.
That's just throwing money around
exactly,
to buy up all the talent. But
I can understand.
Eddie should have had a better eye for talent. Who spends money? Like, Mikey's good. I mean, and he's got names,
I know, but
like,
not that good at that time.
But
no, then
Vargas, Tevin Farmer,
then.
Fuck off.
But the thing is, you can understand $7 million if it's a world title fight,
like,
and it's
Spence.
Aye. But no for the Sandor Martin.
Eddie was just chucking money around to try and get the fighters in the early inception of the zone, wasn't he, around that time, though, I think?
Yeah, but he didn't think it through and say, fuck, like, why is Mikey Garcia going to fight, even if he had won against Sandor Martin, why is he going to fight someone harder for similar money after I just paid him that? There's the incentives.
Spent 3 years with the sport. Spent 3 years with the sport, lost the best part of his prime, and then comes back, and you think to yourself, okay, he's come back, he fights Spence and done absolutely nothing. And by that point onwards, it was all about the money for him. Always was. That career should have offered so much more, Mikey Garcia's.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, back to Harlem Eubank.
Garcia was one of the biggest wastes of talent. When Garcia, I think, was when he knocked out Roman Martinez. He beat Salido, right? There's question marks over the Salido. People thought Robert Garcia played a Swifty in the corner when calling the nose broke from a headbutt. But he had dropped Salido like 7 times, and the technique on the fucking guy was unbelievable. legit shot to beat Lomachenko at 35 if he had stuck around. But he's another one, like you said, got himself into another shitstorm with fucking Bob Arum in the middle of it, wanting to get paid, pulling on Andre Ward, like wanting to fucking get out of his contract and get paid. Because people thought he was one of the best pound for pound fighters in the sport. He wanted to be paid accordingly, but it don't fucking work like that. It just doesn't fucking work like that. They pay you what you weigh, like. So anyway, sorry, I'm going down a fucking.
No, well, I mean, this is why we're in the situation we're in now. And the question, like, I think we almost have to throw in the towel on some of those guys that are in their 30s and don't, and had a lot of talent but wasted some time. Like, they're not going to be incentivized to come back. But
it's not a bad place, you think about it, though, Matty.
Well, but if everything is kind of restructured now, some of these guys coming up aren't going to be coming up to those purses. So it might. This might be kind of a balancing period, but we'll see what happens. Like, I think it kind of depends on what money.
Cordina's talking himself out of fights against other champions. He's in his own division, so doesn't make me money. I mean, fucking hell. I mean, you beat that guy, you make the money in the back end. Bet on yourself.
Yeah, well, I mean, to try to make a name. Yeah, try to make a name for yourself so you can make more money from there if you really believe in it. But I mean, if you're struggling with Vasquez, I don't know if that's going to be the case. Yeah, I kind of think that people aren't going to learn, because I feel like whatever might be coming for PBC, better be an Amazon or Netflix or whatever the fuck they might figure out. I think they might throw too much money at it again. Like, and somebody's not looking at it like, well, these other companies are bailing out. Why should I be getting in? And I worry that they're not going to be throwing the right amount of money at it. Maybe it's because of all that Saudi money, and that's what they feel like they have to compete about. But the thing is that Saudi wealth fund doesn't know how to develop talent. They don't know how to match young fighters.
They're all about shows, putting on big events, trying to kind of like say. I hate the term sports wash, because you can use that about any country, any place in the world, actually. So,
and we've been fucking washing drug money for years. Let's not take the moral high ground now.
Exactly. So let's just park that bollocks, right? We've all got blood in our hands somewhere along the lines, each country in the world. But they're clearly just putting it on just to kind of like get a bit of attraction, get the tourism in, that type of thing. Clearly. But you're right, as I say, these fighters coming up have got to get real now about the terms of the money. Unless you are one of the 1%ers, there's no money there for you these days. And as for Amazon, I don't think they're throwing the money about like you did back in the day. You remember when Jeremy Clarkson and all those guys went over from Top Gear, started off the Grand Tour? They threw millions at those guys, and then after about 2 or 3 seasons, they got cut back to like maybe a special here or there once a year. You're not seeing all these big massive shows getting put on, as much these days and that as well. So I think everybody's cutting back, as you're saying as well. What other ones you've got? Discovery Plus. You've got all these other apps coming on station. You've got Disney.
Well, there's so much.
Costs too much to put the fucking lights over the ring these days with the price of electricity and everything. It's eating into the fighters' purses.
Well, and again, if you guys didn't have the fight so late, like a nice evening fight that ends around like 8 o'clock or something like that, you don't even need fucking lights.
Just plenty of them, they're just not on telly.
Well, those should be the ones that are on the fucking television, Fuck it.
But this is the thing, it would be ideal if you're going to start a show, man. Start with the fucking main event at 8 o'clock and then put on some of the kind of like undercard fights afterwards.
I like kind of the Saudi Arabians in terms of what they're trying to do with the boxing. These guys, the government, because that's like boxing. That's like fucking PlayStation game kind of thing, isn't it? Like having Wilder and Joshua on the same card on the same night. Like it's going back to the fucking 90s Don King era where you actually have more than fucking 2 stars on the same card. Like if Joshua and Wilder fight on the same card, that's big. Like, and they're talking about other people on the same night. Like that's kind of fucking Secret Wars shit. I like it. I like the way that's going.
You're talking about $40 million or minimum for those 2 fighters alone. So that's quite a lot abroad,
Yeah, if they had the fucking money to put it on a card like that, fucking power to them. Let's have it. Like, but we have to.
And they have it on a nice time as well, Rob. 9 o'clock.
Nice time for us,
exactly. If you put Don King in charge, man, he would rob the fighters and get another card on the next week for us as well.
Only in Saudi Arabia.
No flags.
No flags. Yeah.
No flags
it would be good for us as well. We get a lot more post-fight pods in if the fights are in Saudi. So things are only up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Decent time as well, aye.
Sometimes.
Well, I think the main event, one of the main events, I think for Joshua Ruiz was at 10 o'clock or something, half 10 at night. That's decent.
The Fury and Garnu would have been at a decent time if they hadn't have had a 2 concert beforehand.
Yeah.
The only time we're going to have big events that aren't in Saudi Arabia anymore, it's going to be during Ramadan and on Cinco de Mayo and Mexican Independence Day.
This is the thing, mate. I mean, where is the big events coming? Where's the big names? Where's the big attractions?
You know, and it's because the thing is, there are so many fights out there and fighters, and I could see such a great future for boxing because I've been watching because of the show. I mean, I've been watching more and more talent coming up, and there's a lot of good guys coming up that I'm excited about where they could possibly wind up. But we need to see them fighting, and this fucking once, twice a year bullshit. Once you get a belt, needs to stop, man. Like, you know, if you want to, like, if you're a junior welterweight champion and if you want to fight some other guy at 145 pounds, you know, just as a run over, make a few bucks, stay sharp, whatever. But, you know, have that sandwich between 2 title fights the same calendar year. Quit fucking around, man. We need, well, like, I hate to say cut back the pay, but do it, man. These guys need to be forced to fight more to earn a fucking limit.
You know what I think is the way forward? And it will be hard to
Going backwards.
No, it would be like the fighters taking ownership in the same kind of way that Jake Paul does, but you need a really young fighter. Ryan Garcia could be the perfect fucking one to do it, right? To break out.
He doesn't have a fucking emotional breakdown.
No, but I'm talking about like someone. You need someone of his profile to do it. So to be a trailblazer, get out of contract, and then start running their own promotions and fight more often because they're getting a lion's share because they're putting a promotion on themselves, like run it like a Misfits or a Jake Paul shit, but without you get me. Like those guys are able to do it because they're bringing massive amounts of money from other revenue streams and they're able to put on their own shows and that. Like, but you need somebody who's like from the sport to be able to have enough star power to generate their own shows and then maybe like have it that they're fighting 4 times a year. You get me?
The problem, I think, Rob, is that what you really need, like, you do need that, but another component of it is you also need to have somebody who would help them operate the legal hurdles and work in good faith and who has a background in, like, booking these events, you know, these large venues and shit like that. So it's one of those things where I think a fighter...
You mean like a guy that would have fucking possibly managed New Edition before?
Donnie Baseball?
Yeah, well, like a guy like you think of a guy like Donnie who does love the sport, and I don't think something like that is necessarily out of bounds, you know. But like in that kind of,
you want to watch who was getting in as a judge.
The problem is like even look like, and I think Oscar like is actually becoming a better promoter recently, and he's kind of seeing some problems he made in the past, like, you know, even though he's not like there, I guess, all the time. But like, I don't think necessarily like Richard Schaefer did him right. You know, like imagine if like a Richard Schaefer, imagine if Richard Schaefer like acted, it was a better actor in the whole situation. And I think everything is a little bit different at that point in time. But obviously, you know, greed kind of runs the world. And
still due me a pint, you cunt.
What did you say about the fat Swiss banker?
Tricky Dicky Welsh and a pint with me and Mick McElwee in the Europa Hotel in Belfast. He was going to buy us a pint. He said, I'll be back in 2 minutes. I'm fucking 22,000 minutes later. I'm still waiting for the fucking pint.
It's like supersets.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing, by the way. I was surprised as to how short he was, by the way. Fucking Mick McElwee's fucking bigger than him.
He's quite fat, Schaefer, isn't he?
I think he'd been on a bit of a diet by that point, because he was looking kind of haggard grey, way, you know what I'm saying? That kind of grey, shitty beard that he had in that, eh?
I interviewed him and asked him about the old Oscar thing, and he was like, "Oh, there was no monkey business for me." I remember.
Listen to
well, then that clears that up.
He kens more the bodies are buried that way. I'll tell you that, especially the 500 women, probably possibly as well.
But, I said that before. I got fucking starstruck. Like I met tons of rappers, and I never really got starstruck. Like, because most of them are dickheads when you meet them in real life. But met Manny Stewart for the first time, like going to backstage, and I was so fucking, I was starstruck. And the fucking first thing came out of my mouth, I went, "You're a lot shorter in real life." And he's like, "Hey man, fuck you."
What was Manny, about 5'8", give or take?
Sure,
so he's small. He's so small in that area, 5'6".
Remember him tackling Evander Holyfield during that fucking Riddick Bowe fight. Was it Riddick Bowe fight? I think it was. I
was a legend, wasn't he?
5'6" tackling a fucking 6 feet, 210-pound fucking jacked up steroid abuser.
Show me his pictures of his Cadillac and all on his fucking Yeah, camera. Unbelievable.
Fuck, we have really gone quite odd direction today, but
Hey,
anyhow.
back to Harlem Eubank, by the way.
Yeah, but at least we're going in the Cadillac, Matty. Relax.
Did any of you guys catch James Toney against Razor Ruddock?
Fuck off. Did that actually happen? Like,
Yeah, it happened.
30 seconds on
It
Twitter.
happened.
Oh, I seen it. As Jim Hamilton would say, it happened. It happened.
I saw the same clip that you did, I'm pretty sure, and they were both really fat. They're both really fat. Yeah, look over there. Like, I saw that, and I was like, fucking Tracy Chapman got into boxing, huh?
So give me one reason to stay here when you were watching it.
That's a good one.
Maybe he's got a fast hook.
Who allowed Ruddock out the house without putting his bra on? Man?
Let's look at Razor, man. That fucking Razor fucking nickname is not fucking sticking too good these days, is it? Jesus.
Take the Razor to the steak. That's what you need to do, man. Fucking hell.
Razor, honestly, top neck down, he could probably catfish someone for a few quid.
There's this site, and I think that you can like still find it. It's just it exists, but they haven't.
Who?
To it.
Need I ask who won this shit? Like,
it was a draw, but anyway.
Did you have money on the draw, Matty?
No. There's a website that was called like Men Who Look Like Middle-Aged Lesbians.com. And just saying.
Ruddock looks like that. Like
Ruddock looks like one of them women, Matty, they bring in for the women's world title fights on Sky.
So you try to say that he identifies as somebody else?
Razor Ruddock's in worse shape than Razor Ruddock.
All he needs, Matty, is them lost property shorts, man. I'm telling you, he's a ringer.
Fucking Jesus. Value of the week is coming early today, folks. So it was, they got it on in Jamaica. It was a 6-round draw, apparently. So if you are so possessed, I'm sure that'll pop up somewhere on the internet in the coming days. I actually happen to remember I did catch Jamel Herring getting a stoppage in his comeback fight. First round, just knocked the kid around the ring, came in with a glossy record, real club record, or real club fighter looking thing going on there. Jamel Herring back with a quick stoppage. We'll see where he goes from there. There was a decent women's fight on that card as well. Mio Yoshida against the other one, the gal skipping me, but Yoshida lost, and deservedly so. Started getting clipped with some uppercuts. So I was able to catch that. We've wandered over to Russia. Steve, what happened yesterday? I honestly don't remember. I think I got blackout drunk.
I don't know what happened yesterday, to be honest. Oh, you mean in Newcastle? Yes, Shabazz Massud.
There you go.
Yeah, I did watch this card, actually. Let me think what I saw. Matt Dickinson got a win over Grant Dennis. It was a bit of a dodgy stoppage, actually. The referee jumped in after Dennis had been knocked down. He wasn't happy at all about that one.
I did see the highlights of this, actually. I will say I saw the highlights, and he was just up at the edge, and he looked a little disinterested, Steve. I don't know that I'm entirely buying that.
I like the ending to be brutal and conclusive, and I'm not sure that fitted the criteria in that case, but I'm willing to agree with you on that one, I suppose. Dennis has about 6 losses on his record now. Ishmael Davis, this was in the prediction league, actually, against Ewan McKenzie. I picked Davis on points, but he busted McKenzie's nose open quite early. And in the end, McKenzie was running out of steam badly. And I think it was Dave Ritson, Lewis's dad, pulled him out of the fight. And Davis called it the Black Panther. He did a good interview at ringside as well with Sonny Edwards. So he got a good win there. Callum French against Jeff Euphoria. I actually put in the chat last night about French whenever he came out in the first round. Now, I'm no technical expert, as I said, but French looked really poor, man. He was very robotic. Again, another one very inactive, out for a year. Couldn't get his time in. He was leaping over the left hand, leaving himself exposed. I thought, if Jeff Euphoria doesn't get the win here, then French is going to be caught out at some point. But he was just taking flush shot after flush shot, round after round. He was competitive, he was game, but he was completely face first. And Euphoria stopped him in the 8th in the end. French, he got a cut. His face was starting to shrivel up. His eyes were busted. The corner threw in the towel, and rightly so. I think it was a merciful stoppage from the corner, because French, I don't think he can come again, to be honest. He has as much chance of Jade on that front. He did look pretty poor. In the main event, Shabazz Massud, difficult fight, this one. I thought The draw might have been arguable. San Martin kept coming forward all night. He'd been in with good opposition. Massud, again, been out the ring for a year. He was supposed to fight about 3 weeks ago, and he weighed in, so he got down to the weight, was ill, pulled out the fight, and then 3 weeks later, he's back down to the weight going in against San Martin. So I think if there's an excuse for a flat performance, it's that, and the fact he's in against the guy who's, I think he pushed Navarrete to the 12th round in the past, might have gone in against Mauricio Lara as well, off the top of my head. He really
been in with some tough sons of bitches in there.
Tough sons of bitches, absolutely. The argument was, even though San Martin was coming through, throwing a lot of the shots, Massud was landing quality shots in between. He was at times, but I don't think they were hard enough and often enough, apart from to the body, to suggest that he got the win. I thought San Martin might have done enough there, but Massud was really humble afterwards. He said, look, it was difficult. I need to perform better. I kind of got away with one in not so many words, so he didn't come out all brash and talking bullshit. So I like the look of him. And Ben Davison put the pressure on before, and Costello was like, Ben Davison says that, shouting over the fence, Costello, Massud, if he only wins a world title, he'll be underachieving. He should be winning multiple world titles. Thinking the kid's 11-0 from Stoke. He's fighting on a next-gen card. Just leave off and let him kind of mature as best as he can. San Martin was a step up for him. He got away with one. He'll improve. There's definitely the ground in there of a talented fighter. So, yeah, shout out to Shabazz. It was decent enough fare overall, what you expect. I think, I can't remember if I put this in the chat or not. Let me see if I can find the photo. I'll show the boys. Did I put it in? No, I didn't upload that photo, so there's no point in even going there with that gag, Matty. I'll shut up and let you back in.
All right. Did anyone else catch that card?
Absolutely negative.
Rob, did you have a life yesterday? He might even have a life right now.
He's not watching Shabazz Massud on a Saturday night.
On a Saturday night. No, but I hear Boxer Size Ben is going to fucking AJ. That's going to be a meeting of minds, isn't it? I don't know what's going on there, but it's not going to be nice.
But fucking Mensa meeting that one, mate.
The dossiers and fucking blueprints that are going to be flying around those fucking meetings, like, holy shit.
Yeah, that was I didn't get the feeling that I wanted to really work hard, and I kind of took a week off, sadly, which is a shame on my part. What are you going to do? So apparently somewhere in Ohio, because I found a way to bet on it, God love the boxing gods as they might be, Albert Bell was in the ring against Jason Velez, and Albert Bell, even though not many stoppages on his record, he's a pretty big dude at 130 pounds, and Velez had not been there in a few years, and he took the former title challenger out in only 2 rounds. So interesting guy coming up there.
Matty, sorry, I didn't see that fight, but I wonder about Albert Bell. Why have nobody ever took him on? He's 25-0 with 8 knockouts. He's been a pro for 10 years now. He's clearly talented. He's a big old unit for super featherweight. He can get people out of there at times. He can move. He has a win over Nicholas Polanco. Why has nobody took a chance on this guy?
See, these Ohio fighters, man, like, you think about it, they just come with some shit sometimes. You kind of wonder that, right? I mean, you got like Broner and his shit. Robert Easter Jr. Had his crap going on. I think Montana Love has had his adventures. Because Robert Easter Jr. got shot. That's what I was thinking of. So I don't know, man. Like, some of these places, I don't know. It just might not be worth the trouble, possibly. Or
he never had a nickname, Ding Dong. These fellas need to come to me first to get their fucking nicknames. Albert, ring your bell. You get me? Fucking 25 and fucking 8. Fuck me, man.
I'm searching his record or checking the internet to see if I can find anything. Maybe
you're right, and he should be coming out to some 96 Dr. Dre. You're 100% right, Rob. It writes itself.
Exactly.
Yeah, MB's right there, Andy. I think Bell has boxed on Showtime a few times. He has, but they've never sort of took a chance on him, or no one's ever pushed him along. Can't DAZN? They're throwing money left, right, and centre, can't they?
For some reason, I think I might have saw him on the Crawford undercard when I went to Omaha, maybe?
Possibly, I don't know.
I don't know. But, anyways, so he was out there. And also under the radar, Andy, somehow you found a way to see this one. I was curious about this fight. Young Tito Mercado coming away with another knockout victory, this one in the second round against Jeremiah Nakatila. who was also in the prediction league as a double pointer. See why he got smacked out of there. Some people said it might have been a little bit of a quick stoppage, but I don't know. What were your thoughts?
Well, firstly, I think I wouldn't say the hype, but I think some of the talk about the kid seems to be a wee bit genuine. He does have good feints, got a good rapid jab about him. He's got power in each hand. We'll only really know. Really, he's 13-0 now, 12 knockouts. We're only really going to know until he steps up in class. I mean, he's beat Hank Lundy in one round. Hank's washed, to be fair. And Nakathila, again, anytime he steps outside of Zambia or Namibia, wherever it is he's from, he gets iced or he gets beaten up. Except Stevenson, obviously.
Burchelt.
Sorry, but is Burchelt maybe even washed at that point, possibly?
That's what I was telling you
Big
guys.
time,
You didn't
yeah.
believe me.
Yeah, I mean, he's only got 2
Yeah,
knockouts.
Matty got that one right, Andy, if you remember. He told us.
Aye, I remember
We
you
should
said
remember
that.
it because it doesn't happen that fucking often.
We'll never forget.
Hey Rob, when I come over to see you all you guys, I'm gonna bring you a spoon. Use it to eat my ass.
I wouldn't make the flight based on that promise, Matty, if I was you.
Just
it'd be a nice spoon, engraved, you know. Yeah.
The wooden spoon, more like it.
Ah.
Just on the stoppage though, he did drop Nakathila. I think it was on the left hook post, but badly buzzed him. I wouldn't have said you could have probably stopped him at that point, but the legs were definitely weak, and obviously he got stopped on his feet at the end of the day. This is what I hate about box, right? When you see the score, it says KO2, so you switch it on hoping to see a fucking dramatic knockout, and it's not really that, to be fair. But it was one of these copies. Actually, it was a mate from ringside. Actually, I don't know if it was a family member. It was under his YouTube name anyway on the YouTube channel, Ernesto Mercado. It was a ringside copy. So I didn't really get the chance to kind of write replays and that type of thing. But the power seems to be a wee bit legit. But again, you can only tell so much against that type of quality opponent. But the signs look good, I must admit. He's got good feints. He's got a really good jab. Speed in each hand, power in each hand, and that as well. So other than that, we just need to see him get tested, see how the chin is, and ultimately see how the tank is in terms of stamina.
Well, and he's a guy without a promoter. He's just been kind of working with people here and there, doing his own thing as he's worked along. So
yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's him that's putting on the card himself, or if it's his dad or a relative. But Ernesto Mercado put on that card there last night, so.
That's his real name.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know if it's his dad, possibly, you know.
Well, there, Andy, someone said this in the chat. Nakathila's right up against it. He's fighting Ernesto Mercado in a show promoted by Ernesto Mercado and with the matchmaker Ernesto Mercado.
All we needed to do is...
Steve, I mean, I don't want to sound like Rob here, but I sense a conspiracy possibly towards the gentleman named Mercado.
Well, he didn't need any, any home cooking for it anyway, put it that way, by the time he finished the fight, so... It says that you can see the stoppage was a wee bit soft because he was on his feet, but he was gonna get ice. He didn't even belong in there, to be fair.
That fight was at 140 pounds, which is definitely north of Nakathila, where we've seen him do a little bit of good work. I guess there's definitely still questions about Mercado. Hopefully, wherever he ends up next will be a good fight, and we'll have a chance to see him on a larger platform, because I am interested. Fuck, bring him to Pro Box. Come on, guys. I pimp you out all the time. I hope you're listening.
Against Albert Bell?
Pro Box. Yeah. Well, no, Albert Bell's 130 pounds. That'd be...
He's desperate, Matty.
Yeah. Yeah, he's as desperate as I'm not going to go there anyway. I'm just going to avoid that. So I'm trying to think. There was a DAZN card on Saturday Night US that I missed. I don't know if there's any. I kind of was looking at the corner of my eye. Jose Luis Castillo Jr. was on there against an 18-year-old. I didn't see how that ended. I don't know if you guys caught that one at all this morning, if that happened. No. Yeah. So, but did I miss anything? It somehow we've managed to cover an hours of time. I think.
No, nothing that I can see, to be honest.
Excellent. Let's see here. Do we have any questions in there, Steve?
Yeah, Sam Eggington just sent out a tweet there saying, "Take a try and get a copy of this, make sure it's real." Yeah, looks like so. Quoting everything. So this remember that Darshawn character. Sam Eggington was told this month that he isn't fan friendly enough to box on Sky Sports. What? The guy literally fucking put on wars every time he went on that fucking ring on Sky, mate.
Sky are bitter with him, though, aren't they? I remember one of the
I don't know
friends
what
of
happened
the pod saying to me whenever he left to go over to Channel 5, Sky deleted all of his wins that were on their YouTube channel and left on all of his losses.
Okay, Jesus.
So they're a scorned lover, is Sky.
Let's see here. We do have something from Dan. What do we got there, Steve? You said this might be a comment. He says, Tony Bellew is rumored to be appearing in I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here on a diet of rice and beans. How many days will it take him to lose 10 pounds?
I'll tell you this much, mate. When he comes out of that jungle, he'll be at 175, and that means that Bataria fight's getting made. Make it happen.
They had to go to the jungle to find him, Andy. He's not been spotted since he retired.
No, mate. Even the SAS couldn't find him. Maybe that's maybe the SAS found him in the fucking jungle during selection training.
I'm wondering what we should set the over-under at until there's a scene of him shadow boxing.
You know what we should do, mate? You know what we should do? We should get all the cash the pod owns, right, and just every time there's a dingo challenge, we make sure we fucking text it. Tony do every single challenge, and then pod will pay for it. Every single challenge, Tony's going to do it. Until he quits, until he bails on it.
I think this is something worthy of Twitter, and just let me say that I'm not against fucking with things like this, because I did vote in a Bird of the Century contest from New Zealand because John Oliver told me so. So who knows what could happen. By the way, Pawtucky Tucky for the win.
Bird of the Century. Got to be Liz Hurley, Matty, man.
Not that kind of bird. They're talking like birds that are endemic to New Zealand.
Depends. I think you have to go different fucking weight divisions, don't you?
That's like the Premier League we're talking about here now, by the way.
Yeah, it's getting
compared
it's
to
a tricky one, but it's a good pod. I'd like
Patreon
listeners. Patreon listeners, if you really want to get your money's worth some night, let's
hopefully
have
has to eat a fucking rat or a carrot.
Could you imagine the characters that are going to turn up in the top 10 pound for pound list of Maddie, Andy Patterson, Rob Kelly, Steve, Mr. Wellington, Ozzie Smith. Ozzie Smith's ones would all be like 6 stone, it'll be like fucking Twiggy and fucking Bo Derek and all, not an ounce of body fat on him. Like Lizzo, absolute disgrace. Oh, fuck me.
Gotta go on a bad week.
Yeah, I've never seen the show. I think I know the premise though. I think it's basically like it's kind of like Survivor.
Yeah, I've never watched it, but they get them to eat like.
Can you imagine Nigel Farage coming in there by Tony Bellew?
Yeah, Nigel Farage is going to be there, right?
Yeah,
that's kind of interesting.
That's good.
Only time I ever watched it, right? Peter Andre got off with Jordan. Thought this is not bad. It's not really fucking. I don't see what everyone's complaining about this for. Like, this is not bad. Where's this going? Well, not never fucking. You know, they edited out all the fucking good shit. Didn't get that far. But I once played in a nightclub and they told me, see in the spot where you're sitting, and I said, yeah. And they said we had to kick Jordan out of here because she pissed in a pint glass right where you're sitting. I thought, fucking hell, I hope you had the cleaners in since. Fuck's sake.
Robert's been sniffing the chair.
Jordan, I thought you were talking about Michael Jordan. I'm like, what?
Sniffing the carpet, Rob.
Don't think they can afford him in Limerick. Actually, you know, fucking, I'll tell you after here. I'll tell you after here. The Jordan story.
Right, I'll
fuck this. Fuck this.
Anyhow, yeah, it's been a very kind of weird week here, and it's an interesting.
Bellew won't win any stars unless they're vacant.
And guys, so who's on this? So
Russ is fucking putting up billboards in Doncaster to keep him in, isn't he?
Who's on there? You said Tony Bellew. Did you say Nigel Farage? Is that who?
Yeah,
Nigel Farage. Who else is
Jamie Lynn Spears? Never heard of him.
Spears' sister,
That's
is that right?
Yeah.
That'd be some crack if fucking Bellew leaves the missus for her.
Here we go.
Marvin Hughes.
Frankie Dettori. He'll be good value, by the way. He'll be good value. Be Frankie.
Oh, I know Frankie Dettori. Yeah.
Just happened, mate. Couldn't fucking help it. Me and Jamie Lynn Spears, we just hit it off, mate, in the jungle.
Raging with himself again. I can't believe I done it.
No, that's a fine, mate. I'm on every Celebrity. Get me out of here. Fucking special.
Can you imagine when Tony gets sent to go and win those stars, though, mate? He's like, listen, I can't win any of these stars, guys. They're no vacant.
Do you reckon, like, the highlights of this are going to be just the rest of the cast going, some full of shit, that Bellew, and he's fucking doing my head in. Tony was fucking retired.
Gonna have to be careful out there, because much like when he was in the ring, I doubt he has a plan B.
But remember though, Matty, remember he was crying during the summertime there about that barbecue that he had to get back on the bike immediately. He's going right into the jungle here, mate. He's taking it seriously. He's making a comeback. This is what will happen. He'll lose all this weight, and he says, "I'm making a fucking comeback."
I tell you one thing, he's eating lentils for fucking 2 months. Them fucking farts that he's doing that are getting more views than our podcasts are going to be fucking sending people into the fucking stratosphere. Fucking hell.
Yeah, Rob, Michael Thompson says we've never been in the jungle, so we're not allowed to talk about it.
I
have.
Your opinion isn't worth a banana.
Fucking malaria and everything.
Yeah, I'm very. If it does happen, for the love of God, send us a clip of Tony Bellew and Nigel Farage discussing Brexit. I have a feeling that it will be fucking class.
I can't wait till I get to ISIS. That's going to be
exactly
stuff.
Oh, this is the bit I can't wait till they get to ISIS and immigration and that type of thing, mate. It's going to be
then Jamie Lynn Spears
drug testing in boxing.
Drug test in the House of Lords.
I tell you, it's some turnabout and some turn up for the books that the fella that was wanting to stay out of the limelight is now eating kangaroo testicles in Australia just to stay in the limelight. Isn't it?
I'm telling you, man, we've got to get a campaign going, right? Get every listener of this podcast get voting for Anthony Bellew to do every dingo dollar challenge, right? To see if he can win any vacant stars.
This is in Australia.
Well, that'll be about 5 votes, so we hope the rest of the fucking public weigh in with us.
There's no jungle in the UK, man.
Apart from Australia.
I know it wasn't in the UK, but there's
maybe the streets possibly,
which is closer.
Talks death.
But oh my God, there's fucking so many more things in Australia that can kill you.
This
is so interesting.
Yeah. Hey, Matty, there's no priest in the jungle either, you know.
Well, let me just say that if Nigel Farage gets taken out by an Aborigine, it would be one of the greatest moments in the history of humanity.
Can we please make it the Aborigine out of Crocodile Dundee, the fella that had a Rolex? Can we get him? Jesus Christ, make your friendly shit out of me.
It would do more views than fucking Eubank Ben rematch.
What the fuck has come to this show? What has become of us?
Thomas Newman, the Tory through the drug test in the past. Bellew's going to administer death by kangaroo. Ring peace.
I've said it before, Frankie. I've said it before.
As he goes down for a drink by the lake and the fucking thing just jumps out of the lake like Crocodile Dundee and pulls Bellew down by his fucking purse.
I failed the drugs test.
Paul Hogan has to jump in and save him.
No, not Frankie Andy. He's one of the boys. He'd be raging about this.
4'11", mate. Poor Frank. Well, he was 5'2", but he had a bad landing off a horse.
Frankie's one of the boys. He wouldn't. It's not him. It's not him, man.
He hated Jimmy Hill back in the day, and that he's just like the Scottish. Why? He's good.
He's after fucking lashing everything as well, isn't he? The Tory, not just the arses on the horses, by the way.
Top shagger as you be, Frankie. By the way.
I don't know any of the other ones, Matty. I couldn't tell you who they are.
I'm just not dialed. I'm so not dialed in. I looked at Thomas Newman's name. I'm like, isn't that the guy that did She Blinded Me with Science? I'm like, no, that was Thomas Dolby. You're mixing him and that Newman guy up who did Here in My Car. So yeah, I was just mixing up 80s people.
You could genuinely see both Bellew and Farage getting landed with every fucking challenge today, by the way, because they're hating that much.
Unlikely buddy movie that is, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like Mel Gibson and Danny Glover.
If I had a chance to fuck with them, and if I had the money to do it, I would be like putting up flyers in like every immigrant heavy community in the UK. Just tell them this is what you could do to Nigel Farage.
I wonder will it have any bizarre moments where fucking somebody puts up the Bellew and he just floors him for the cracker? Because remember when fucking they put poor Audley in the Big Brother house and then the fucking that little fucking ballet dancer off fucking Strictly Come Dancing got in his face. He was like, I'm not afraid of you, Audley. I'm not afraid of you. And Audley was couldn't knock him out, but he was dying to, but he didn't.
Why would you fuck with a guy like that though, mate? Hey, you're not even in his league regardless, man. You know,
kept on saying to him, he was like, you quit in boxing. You quit in boxing. Your boxing career was a fucking joke. This guy was sticking it on Audley every week, man. Unbelievable.
No way.
He's fucking lucky, man. I mean, Audley might be a lot of things, but against Joe Smoke.
We gotta clip this. I gotta go. I gotta go do a bit of digging and we'll clip it for a future Bellew of the week.
Yeah,
It's hilarious.
keep
It's like this fucking this guy. Like I'm not saying like if he's maybe he could fight still. Like you know what I mean. But I don't know if he's. I don't even know if he was like. I'm not even going to say what I thought he was, but he was a fucking ballet dancer anyway, and he was putting on all the hours for the whole week, and all he was taking it. And I was just waiting. I was tuning in every night, hoping. I was like, "Oh, tonight, he's going to slip, man. He's going to fucking the mask going to slip off here. He's going to fly this guy's head."
Game with the hard part was Mike Tyson sitting there. Mike Tyson was sitting there stewing, man. Let the boy up. Fuck this shit, man.
Fucking just fucking rip through him, wouldn't he? Like,
look at the cunt in the plane trying to get into Mike Tyson's earlobe, man. Fucking hell. He lasted
that motherfucker is not
real.
real.
Fuck with a guy like that, man.
Matty, Fred Syriacs apparently is off first dates, whatever that is, and he's always at the fights. And Yimmy Happy backs him up and says, "I've met Fred at a fight. He's a nice guy. Maybe on first dates. I don't know, Yimmy. Hope
first
everything went
dates
okay
is where
there,
they put him on a blind date in a fucking
Right.
in a restaurant. It'd be a good one for the boxing community. Who from the boxing world would you say on a first date that you'd watch on telly? That'd be a good one. Run it for the listeners. Give us your possible combinations. Who from the boxing world would you put on first dates the TV show where they have to go on a first date in front of the television cameras? You could have like Ebony Bridges and
Ricky Graville.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For fuck's sake.
Yep.
I don't think he's gonna be top of Channel 4's wish list, but we'll put him in the mix.
It would be Clarissa Shields and fucking who else could be put in there?
Sonny Edwards.
Sonny Edwards,
yeah. Yeah. That's actually the fucking 90 Day Fiance show I didn't know I needed to watch till now.
Oh God. Trying to think if there could be some other good ones in there.
Ricky said I'd rather go in the jungle.
I don't know. That's a coin flip on which one is giving better chance of giving you a disease coming home.
Yeah, AP says Ted Cheeseman is going on The Undateables. The Undateables, they are. What's that one, Rob? That's another one I'm not familiar with either.
The Undateables is when if he's
Why do you know this?
The Undateables is when I don't know how they were getting away with it. Like basically they pick people that are like heavily autistic or like they have one leg or something.
All right, I'm out of this one.
Or they're like, no, this is the premise of the show. This is not like my view of it. This is actually what happens.
I'm going to mute myself here.
And it's like you could have like maybe one leg or you're a dwarf or something, and they put you together on a date, like first dates. It's like first dates, except like if you're fucking there's something different about you. Fucking get me off this fucking topic, will you?
Hey, segues, mate. Well, you muted yourself. I'm just going to let you hang yourself when you go. Keep going.
Trump welterweight or something, will you? For fuck's sake.
Hey, I just want people to know that everybody is worthy of love, even a one-legged midget with chlamydia. Okay.
Symptomless anyway. Get over it. Come on. Let's
Ricky wants to go into
I think I just caught him, Steve. I have always thought that Rob is not a 6'2" Irishman, but he has 40 leprechauns stacked together in clothing.
Back to Harlem, Eubank.
Let's get back to Harlem.
Harlem, Eubank, guy. Talking about hate,
which makes your accomplishments all the more amazing. I mean,
I actually worked with a woman who was a victim of, that morning sickness drug called was it thalidomide or something like that? Thalidomide. Poor cow, man. Honest to God. I could tell you. I'll tell you off air. I need to tell you these off air, man. I can't do it. I can't do it anymore. The heat just isn't deserving it anymore.
Sounds good.
So, I
can't take the heat no more.
Other than the Shakur card, I'm gonna go in chronological order, and we're gonna wrap up with that. And if anybody wants to jump in on any of these cards, please do, because there's a lot starting with Tuesday. So when you guys wake up Wednesday, you can start with something. We got a card going on from Canada. It's going to be headlined by Steve Claggett going in against Miguel Medueno. Only one defeat on his record, but he hasn't fought a whole lot of great competition. Stephen Butler coming back from after his loss to Alim Hanala against Ivan Alvarez. Ivan Alvarez, more likely. That one actually could be all right. Ivan Alvarez, the record in his last 5 fights is he's 1, 2, and 3.
At least he's moving in the right direction.
I might be putting a little on the draw, Steve. Seems to be a theme here. So anyways, you'll have a chance to watch that one. I think that's going to be on ESPN Plus stateside. So I imagine you folks will be able to pick it up in the normal ways. I know you love those Canadian cards, Steve. So your cup, it runneth over.
Mm-hmm.
Keep an eye out for that Kaitev on the undercard, by the way. Imam Kaitev.
Yes, he fought recently, actually, on the last Eye of the Tiger show. I think it was the Umbilly undercard. He's quite getting on a bit, so in boxing terms, so they're moving him fast. He's exciting.
Yeah, he's almost 30, but he's an ex-Olympian. I'm sure he medalled at the last Olympics, or maybe the Olympics. I think it was Japanese Olympics, actually. I remember him icing properly knocked this cunt out, actually, in the semis or the quarters, whatever it was. But
he can bang, and he's based in Australia as well, so a little bit of a Costas U vibe going on there.
Definitely, he is a solid. What weight is he fighting? Is it lightweight? Light heavy, sorry, light heavyweight.
I say he's super middle light.
He's fucking massive. He's solid. Like, so keep an eye on him.
Right on. So, yeah, you'll be able to catch that Tuesday. Looks like Andy actually has a little bit to look forward on there. And actually, Steve Claggett usually finds himself in reasonably entertaining fights. So,
yeah, whether he's getting knocked out or doing the knocking out, he is exciting.
Sure enough. Now, this Pro Box card on Wednesday, on paper, I think this might be the best one that they've put on this year. They're going to have an undefeated fight between undefeated super lightweights. Emiliano Moreno, 7-0, taking on Daniel Lim, 10-0. Then you're going to see Jimmy Kelly working his way back after that defeat to Jaime Munguia, taking on
Fuck him, by the way.
Okay, yeah, okay. Yeah,
because you know why? He followed me on Instagram one time and then he unfollowed me. Jimmy Kelly, the fighter. And I was wondering, did he follow me because one fight, who did he fight one time and he looked like total shit? Was it
Liam Smith, was it, no?
Yeah, Liam Smith, yeah. And I was like, said it on the pod or whatever. And I felt like he was like following me because I was like criticizing him on the pod. And then he like unfollowed me. Or maybe he just thought we were long lost fucking relatives.
Yeah,
and I figured out we're not related at all. And was like, I better unfollow this cunt. Who's this Rob Kelly guy? But anyway,
he maybe thought you were his dad.
Listen, what is his possibility?
remember that Irish guy talking about that time outside the pub and that he's getting ready to fight with this guy. Says,
Colgan, yeah, know that guy, yeah, from fucking Hardy Bugs, yeah. I might be your dad. I think I might be your dad.
Fucking hell.
Also on that card, Justin Paldo, 16-1, taking on Jerry Perez. Perez, a fairly underrated fighter for his 14-3-1 record. And this is going to be headlined by Guido Schramm, taking on Johan Gonzalez, quite the puncher. So I do expect this to be a pretty damn entertaining showbox card on Wednesday.
Freudian slip from you, Matt. A pro box card, but it's very much like a showbox card with a lot of fighters who once fought on showbox. So I like that mistake from you. That's where I'm going to go with this.
And I
get it on chicks from Deegan. You could have Hobox card.
Nice. That's nice. Yeah, we're going to be previewing the fight here next weekend, actually. So, anyways,
I've watched a few of these pro box cards this year, actually, and they've always pretty much delivered, to be fair. So I will be watching this one as well. South American Derby as well, so it should deliver.
They're sliding in where Showbox, like I said, a lot of the fighters are from Showbox. So now that Showbox has disappeared with Showtime, Pro Box
sliding in like a South American Derby.
No, exactly. Good stuff.
So that's going to be. I'm looking forward to that one. And then let's see here. Was there anything? Yep. And then on Saturday, let's go. Let's start with going to Wolverhampton, Steve, your old stomping grounds.
You'd want to go there.
Yeah, well, you left.
Well, maybe they went there on Saturday after that result, anyway. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh no, I was happy on Saturday.
Fucking comeback, mate. Jesus Christ, what a fucking goal that first one.
Poor old Ange, man. He's going to have to keep out of the limelight now for a fucking 5 minutes. Jesus Christ.
So this card going to have Richard Riakporhe returning in a 10-rounder against Dylan Brejan, not putting his title up for bid, it looks like. Reese Edwards undefeated, taking on Brad Foster. Matteo Signani taking on Tyler Denny. Denny on a good run, despite his non-punching. He's doing all right. And then also going to have Adam Azim taking on Frank Pettigin. Steve, are you excited?
Well, I'm not sure I'd go so far as to say excited, especially as there's another good card on the other side, but I will be flicking back and forward between these. Dylan Chima's on as well. He's a local Wolverhampton ticket seller. Riakporhe needs better than this, to be honest. Dylan Brezion, he was once a decent fighter at European level. He went the distance with Fabio Turchi. I think he fought Chris Billam-Smith as well. Got knocked out by Michel Sislak, who knocked out Tommy McCarthy, actually, last week. No shame in that. But Brezion had kind of found his level, I think. He was in an 8-rounder with Isaac Chamberlain last time. And for someone who's on the way up, like Riakporhe, who Boxer could do something with, I think this is pretty poor. I think he was not in line, but he was close to maybe fighting Opatayo at one point. I can't remember the exact politics, the ins and outs, but he's a decent specimen. He can definitely punch, and this is nothing but a tick-over fight. I don't know if it's going to be an 8-rounder or a 10-rounder, but they've got to get a move on now. Come on, Shalom, do something with Riakporhe. Brad Foster, former friend of the pod, did really well for himself. He's from Lichfield, actually, was the British and Commonwealth champion at one point. He's hit a bit of a bad streak in his career, lost to Jason Cunningham, lost to Bellew as well at one point. He's going in against this Rhys Edwards, who is from Wales. I'm just looking him up now. Don't think I'm familiar with his previous work, so he hasn't really fought anybody. So if he's not on his game, Foster could maybe be in with a shout. Maybe someone in the chat knows a bit more about that one. Tyler Denny, as you mentioned, great to see him getting a European title shot at middleweight against Matteo Signani. He's on a good run. Beat River Wilson Bent, Macaulay McGowan, Brad Ray as well. That was a good win. Brad Paul's undefeated. He's always been a real honest kind of operator, Tyler Denny. Gets the wrong rub of the green on occasions, but he hasn't give up. He's kept on fighting. He's got his big opportunity. I'm not sure why they haven't put Ben Whittaker on this card, actually, because he's from Wolverhampton and he's fighting in Bournemouth, I think, at the beginning of December. It might be 12th of December, something like that. So maybe that someone knows better than me why he's not performing on this card. And as for the main event, Adam Azim going in against Frank Petitjean. Don't know anything about Petitjean. He's got 6 losses on his record and 3 draws. He's the European super lightweight champion. He's been brought in to lose. If Azim's anything like we think he is, if he can go the 12 rounds and box, he should be able to beat Petitjean. So yeah, it's decent enough overall. A few sort of head scratchers, especially Riakporhe, but yeah, I'll flick it between this and the Manchester card anyway, Matty.
Yeah, just look at that Barry Murray comment there. He's saying he's put on 350 on Andrade. He beat Benavidez. Can't believe I got him at 41.
Woo!
That's pretty much pissing your money away, mate.
I don't
really?
know. I don't know about that because if you, we'll be discussing this next week. But if you look at the way that Plant was able to work Benavidez for the first half of the fight plus a little, it's not. You know, if he can do it for 12 rounds, I just don't think he can.
That's funny.
That ain't losing that fight in the Canelo payday. That's just not happening.
And he said, "That's pissing your money away." And Matty going, "I don't know. Maybe we're to parlay. Maybe we're to draw." Oh, fuck's sake.
Anyhow, meanwhile, back at the ranch, that's going to be opposing a card that's going to be going on from Manchester with a handful of decent-looking fights on it. Let's just work our way on up. Solomon Dakers taking on Michael Webster, both undefeated. I know some people were excited about this. Hannah Rankin getting a chance at a world title against Emma Kozine. Man, God damn it. That's not one of the greatest fights in the world, but you never know. Nathaniel Collins, undefeated 13-0, taking on Zach Miller, undefeated 13-0, with the British featherweight and the Commonwealth title on the line. Going to have Denzel Bentley taking on Nathan Heaney, currently undefeated. We'll see if that lasts through Saturday. Echo Esselman taking on Harry Scarf. With the British welterweight and the Commonwealth belt up there too. Also looks, the IBF European welterweight is on the line too. Liam Davies taking on the undefeated Vincenzo Le Femina. It almost sounds like they're saying Vincenzo the feminine, but that'd be a terrible
Vincenzo
name.
the woman, I think, isn't it?
I don't know. That'd be good.
Good luck to her, then.
And then probably the best fight on paper, looking at a guy coming up, Nick Ball taking on the tremendously experienced former titleist Isaac Dogbe. This is a good-looking card, Andy. I think I might actually have to find a way to watch this one.
Yeah, I picked this one as well, mate. I think it's a really good card. As I say, this is the type of fare that you would expect to a Friday or a Saturday night show in the UK. It's loaded by elite British, Commonwealth, European title fights. It's the kind of things that you want. The guy that Liam Davis is fighting, I know he's like many people look at the name and I'm not bumming him up to be anything, but this guy won his European title on the road. He needs to be respected in that regard. He's coming on the road to defend it. Again, massive respect. Really looking forward to Nick Ball against Isaac Dogbo because I know Dogby or Dogby, whatever you pronounce it. He's been in deep. We know that. Probably on the back half right now and that as well. So I think if Nick Ball comes in here and does a number, Nick's got good power. He's all action. And I think if he can get a stoppage in this fight, I think that's a wee bit of a statement, actually, in my opinion, as well. Because obviously, I've not seen Dogbo stop since probably, was it the Navarrete fight?
In the 12th round, yeah.
Yeah, that's a while back now as well. So I think it'll be a wee bit of a statement. Plus, Dogby is kind of picked up a wee bit of form or wee run over the last, before that last fight against Ramirez, obviously, but he had a couple of wins as well, didn't he? I think.
Yeah, and I think he kind of outperformed expectations against Ramirez in his own way too. He didn't get completely waxed out of there like thought could have happened.
So the thing is, well, Dogbo was one of those guys who did the education part as well. He did his degree before he even took boxing up full time and that, so he had something to fall back on. So guys like that, I kind of tend to respect that as well because he's planning for the future. So good to see him over here. Hopefully puts a good count on himself in it. But as I said, it'll be interesting to see how he performs because, again, it's down to ambition at the end of the day. Nick Ball's on the way up. And as I say, if Dogbo's not really properly put in the effort or trained or taking shortcuts, I think Ball could potentially expose that. Esserman against Sharf. I'm not too familiar with Sharf again, actually. I need to go and double check his record, to be fair. But I'll fancy Esserman in that one, possibly on, I'll say, points. And I'm looking forward to Bentley against Heaney. I think that'll be a decent scrap as well. Fancy Bentley, to be fair, potentially by, I'll go maybe a mid to late round stoppage. I remember the Alp Canuli fight or the Janibek fight, even though in defeat, I still thought he'd give a good account of himself and that. So he's tested himself a little bit up at world level and that. So I think it'll be a tough fight for Heaney. If Bentley's definitely up for it. Again, as well, it's a British title fight. I forget how many defences he's made at this point. If it's potentially this is his chance to kind of win it outright, or maybe he's got one fight still to go. So he has got a wee bit of incentive in that as well. Let's see, look at the undercard here. Nothing really else. Hannah Rankin, not really interested. Solomon Dakers, I might watch that one. That's an English title fight, so it's usually where guys kind of like tend to kind of show if they're championship class or whatever and that. So yeah, it's a good card, but hopefully we're not sitting till like 12:30 at night for the main event to happen. So we'll wait and see. But
don't you know it?
There's a good number of those fights that could be going the distance there, Rob. I kind of feel like you might.
Post-fight pod, Rob. Come on, let's do it.
Be better than a live transmission, actually.
Let me know. I'll listen back to it.
Shabazz Massud on a Saturday night.
Mid-fight pod at 9 o'clock your time.
11 o'clock will be mid-fight pod, Matter.
What's our greatest post-fight pod?
Great.
Bellew's got to be up
Remember
there.
that time Amir Khan got dropped? Was it one of the first ones? No.
Oh, that was due.
Josh Warrington getting iced off. What's your man's name?
Lara.
Mauricio Lara.
That was due in the pod, wasn't it?
That was a live. That was when we tried to do the live feed, and we're all on
That's
different
right.
speeds watching the fucking.
Yeah.
That was the first one. I was the first one up because I had the most up-to-date stream or whatever it was. And
Yeah, because you paid for it, you fucker. We were on a fucking.
I did pay for it. I paid for it. Fucking tears, man.
Bellew Cleverly was a good one, wasn't it?
Oh, hi, mate.
The post-fight pod, not the fight.
The post-fight pod, mate. I was absolutely ruined by that time, mate. That was when I decided to stop drinking that night.
You put on the gold label.
I came on the pod for the post-fight Usyk Joshua 1 on my wedding day. Off to a bad start there, wasn't I? Really, like the fucking light was on the wall there. Like.
I remember that.
Dillian White getting knocked out was a good one, James. That was a good
man. I was never so mad in my life. Do you remember that? You remember me in a whole week?
Knocked the ornaments off my fucking desk and everything that mate. Just going, fucking yes!
The week before I was theming on the pod. Surprise, surprise. But I was like, giving Povetkin a shot. And remember in the chat during the week, I was like, Povetkin could do this. Like, he could definitely knock this fool out. Like, and I had him for the KO inside fucking 4 or something. It was like 10-1. And I had a load of the fucking Paddy Power wallet. And I came out of the fucking thing after I made the deposit and he knocked him out. And I was celebrating like I was after winning loads of money. And then the fucking bet wasn't placed. I was like, back out. I was like, oh no. Disaster. But I still enjoyed it.
That had to be bigger than 10-1 too. That had to be bigger.
It was something crazy, but I had backed it when I had intended to back it and then not backed it, which was shit. But anyway.
Jeez. Yeah, so what would be your pick off of that card, Steve? You're looking forward to that one, I see.
Am I? Let me see that. Actually, my ADHD brain, as you say, Matty, led me to a different place because Frank's calling this the Magnificent Seven. I remember him doing a Magnificent Seven back in 2010.
Yeah,
Was
there a bunch of lightweights on there?
I bought up the card here actually, and I remember Nathan Cleverly headlining. He fought Karo Murat. I think he was supposed to fight Jürgen Bremer, wasn't he? And Bremer
Enzo
pulled out.
Got iced in that card against.
Enzo got iced from Alexander Frenkel, who was 22-0. Kell Brook beat Michael Jennings with a 5th round TKO. Derek Chisora fought Sam Sexton. They fought twice. One was on Satanta, so this must have been the second time maybe with a 9th round stoppage. Matthew Hall, remember him, lost to Lucas Konechny. Matthew Macklin knocked out Shalva Joma Dashfully. I think he was supposed to fight a Spanish guy, actually. Frankie Gavin was on, beat Michael Kelly from Dundalk. James DeGale knocked out Carl Dilks in a round. So that was the original Magnificent Seven anyway. As for this one... Sorry, Matty, just bringing us back up to date again. Who've we got? Nick Ball against Isaac Dogbay. It's a pretty lofty step up in opposition for Ball, I think. Their styles are going to mess perfectly, head on in the phone box, whack each other with a few decent shots. Dogbay, he's a good fighter. He's had a lot of hard physical fights. I've heard people saying Ball could run through him, but I don't know. It's not likely. You never know, but I think it's going to be a war.
He'd be the first man to ever run through him. I mean, the second Navarrete fight, Navarrete kind of had his way, but it still took him 12 rounds to take that tough.
Yeah, but see that rematch as well. I felt so sorry for Dogbay. He wanted to quit that fight, and his dad would not allow him to do it. By the way,
wouldn't let him. He took a beat. Even Andre Ward talked about it on the telecast that night. He took a. That's the only reason I think a run through could happen if maybe the hard fights catch up on him. But if Ball were to do that, it'd be a statement because Dogbay is tough as old boots. Very, very talented. Very tough. Well, not very talented, but very tough fighter. A good ABA fighter back in the day as well. But yeah, that's a good main event. It's really solid. Liam Davis, like him, Telford fighter, brings a good crowd. As Andy said, La Femina. 13-0 coming over, good solid fight. That Harry Scarf, he's in the Clifton Mitchell camp going in against Echo Esserman. I expect Esserman to win on points, but it'd be tough enough. Bentley, I think for the first 3 or 4 rounds, Bentley's depends how conservative he is. When he starts letting the shots go, Heaney's a good fighter, well supported, real nice guy, but he has a level. And Bentley's fought against Alim Honolulu 12 rounds. He's a good guy. Only Cash has smashed him to bits. So I think once Bentley starts landing the shots and Heaney tires, 5-6 rounds maybe, that fight could be all over. Don't know much about Collins against Miller. That's Aussie territory. Hannah Rankin, by virtue of being tough, have gloves. She's got herself a world title shot. She's not world level. Ema Kozin, I think she fought the Goat back in the day, actually. Went the distance. Who else is on this? Solomon Dakers signed with Frank. He was on the DAZN cards originally, going against Michael Webster. Good show. Between this and the boxer card, Matty, if we go back between screens, we'll have a good night's boxing, I think. I'm actually looking forward to it.
It's going to be quite the interesting week of boxing, and it's not even done as we're going chronologically here, and we haven't even gone back to what's happening Thursday. Going to have a card on DAZN Saturday night. Going to have Diego Pacheco on there taking on Marcelo Esteban Coceros. I think I've seen Coceros fight before for some reason.
Fought Billy Joe Saunders, and I think he fought Edgar Berlanga as well, didn't he?
I think that is correct. There you go. So, and Khalid Yafai going to be on this one against Jonathan Rodriguez, 16-1-1. Actually slightly interesting there. Mark Castro coming back out, taking on Gonzalo Fuenzalida. And there's
I'm already rooting for this guy.
I'm telling you.
What's his name?
See that guy Yafai's fighting, by the way. He's never been in a fight above a 6-rounder.
Well, interesting. The guy's name is Gonzalo Fuenzalida.
Fun time, Fonzalida. Let's go.
There you go.
Happy days.
I'm all behind him. Also going to have...
but the thing is, Khalid Yafai is the next world champion, and he's coming back against that.
Yeah, that.
And a 10-rounder.
There you
and
go.
it's for a vacant WBA strap as well.
I think we're saying skip over this one, Matty.
Also going to have undefeated Jalen Walker taking on Jorge Alberto Villegas, 14-1. And going to be also going to have a women's world title fight on there. Marilyn Rivas taking on Erica Cruz, who gave Amanda Serrano a hell of a fight just a couple of fights back. So it'll be that could be actually an interesting little
See
scrap.
if I was
for
Mark
those that dig
Castro.
it.
Mark Castro there, right? I see he's fighting on that card. See if I was Mark Castro, I'd be phoning Box right asking to get that fucking profile picture changed.
It's class, innit? It looks like Elon Musk on acid, man.
Mate, it does, eh? Fucking hell, man. And I swear to God, that looks like plugs he's got in that hairdo there, man. That's too straight along that top half.
He looks
there.
like an avatar.
Fucking hell, man. Anybody's able to break that jaw, man, he needs a pay increase.
Here, Matty, just on not that I want to take you down a Chicks with Dig rabbit hole, but I was watching a podcast during the week.
Please do, Steve. Said all the listeners.
That's the only place we haven't gone today, Steve.
Someone more educated than me about women's boxing suggested that Amanda Serrano had had a long, hard career, and he was concerned about her longevity and well-being now, and she was starting to sound a bit slurred and punchy. I don't know if you concur with this opinion, Matty, but I thought of you straight away when I heard it.
I do not agree with that. She sounds fine.
There you go. That's that sorted then.
Yeah,
I'm concerned about all the female fighters' well-being. I think they should be looked after, every single one of them.
Yeah, if there was someone that I think that you should particularly look after, maybe Sinisa Estrada, Rob, or Yokasta Valle. If they ever fight each other, you could be there to console them both. That could be a nice.
I have a thing for crazy Brazilians with baseball bats. Fucking free open off, baby.
Yeah, just make sure to hide her purses every night. That was a callback to Arturo Gatti and another crazy Brazilian. But there's a few of them, it seems, about, Rob.
Yeah.
Be a theme.
Yeah, it's a big population out there. Anyway, move on.
Anybody believes his wife killed him, by the way.
The only thing bigger than their asses is they're crazy.
Here, conspiracy or
great
no,
combination.
by the way.
Fucking hell.
Used to a mafia conspiracies.
What, Andy?
I says, used to a mafia conspiracies. Was he murdered or not?
Oh, no, they killed him. Well,
It wasn't the wife that killed him anyway, I'll tell you that much.
But it feels like, I don't know, like, it's a tricky one, like on a Sunday night when I've had so much to drink. But I feel like, I don't know, like if he would have had to be in jeopardy. Well, he would have to be heavily sedated for her to pull off what they said that she allegedly pulled off, like by strangling him with the fucking, you know what I mean?
And he was a serious drunk.
He
was a serious drunk.
But that's what the conspiracies here said. They killed. Do you get me? Like they said, he didn't hang himself and that she killed him, but he would have had to been. You would think like be sedated for her to be able to pull that off. Like I
think she had someone come in and do it.
That's what I believe. Anyway, back to Harlem Eubank. I believe that as well.
Let's cut out a fucking. When are we getting some cans?
Allegedly, this is what happened. Apparently, the two of them had Gatti and the missus had an argument in the street. Right. He went back to the house apparently.
Bad idea in Brazil.
Gas.
Like, just keep that shit in a house. Like
yeah. Apparently, some people in the street saw the argument happen, took her side, and as Matty says, money was apparently paid for these people to go back because apparently as well, it was he'd hung himself by her purse strap. Right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what. So he would have had to be heavily sedated for her to be able to fucking.
Yeah, but it wasn't strong enough to hold his weight apparently.
Oh shit!
Mm-hmm. So these things were all found at the scene. Mm-hmm. So if he had hung and that thing had snapped, surely he would have been alive. So was he hung? Was he strangled first, then hung up there?
This sounds like Reddit investigates.
Yeah,
it's almost like you can't trust those Brazilians. I don't know. Let's move on.
Yeah, they
allegedly, of course, allegedly.
Allegedly, that's the key word, right? Allegedly. So let's hop on over from that DAZN card. We got some action. Oh god damn it! I closed the wrong one. Bear with me for a second, folks. Well, I know the main events here. We're going to be having a card, and you're like, why is there a card on a Thursday with such a name as Shakur Stevenson on there? Well, that's because, folks, they're having the Las Vegas Grand Prix out there this weekend, so that's going to kind of take up all the action going on at the city. But so they're going to have a lot of people, a lot of names in town, so they're going to put Shakur out there. in a fight. He's going to be taking on Edwin De Los Santos's only mark against him is a stoppage defeat to who was that he lost to?
No, he lost to William Foster
William
the
Foster.
third on points.
Yep. Was it on points? I thought he stopped him for some reason in the ninth.
Pretty sure it's...
Let's go check that out. No, you're right. You're right. He just started tiring out and he got worked down the stretch. That's right.
That's right. That's what happened, Jim.
Yeah. So anyhow, so that's an interesting fight, I guess. Maybe not. Emmanuel Navarrete against Robson Conceição. He's Brazilian. The aforementioned Rob, the R at the beginning is pronounced like H-ish. Maybe that's why these people are getting killed by Brazilians. They're pronouncing R's all the time.
Just don't be bringing me into it. That's what I say. Move on.
All right. Brian Norman Jr., 24-0, taking on Quentin Randall, 13-0-1. Floyd Diaz, undefeated, 9-0, taking on Max Ornelas. I think I've seen him give a good competitive run in his last fight, even though it was defeat. Troy Isley in what I think is a very interesting fight, Steve, against Vladimir Hernandez,
yes.
who is, and I don't know that Isley has the punch to make that happen. And also
good fight,
down the card, also an undefeated fight between Jackson Murray and Steven Torres. At heavyweight, 8-0, 6-0-1. So that's going to be a little bit of an interesting card there. I like that Hernandez fight, as I said. But Rob, I'm going to go to you on this one, and it's interesting to me as I look at this, and I just think they're wrong. Maybe I'm incorrect. But the books have Edwin De Los Santos a 6-1 underdog and Conceição an 8-1 underdog right now. And damn it, Rob, I just think the fight.
What are they both underdogs in the same fight? This doesn't fucking seem right.
What, De Los Santos and Conceição?
They're not fighting each other either, right? That's what I was thinking. That's fucking. Those odds are fucked up.
But against Navarrete, I just think the 5'10.5" Conceição against Navarrete, who does have long arms for the weight, but is just a real.
Navarrete smashed him up, I think.
You think? Because he went hard with Valdez. You could debate that Conceição won that fight.
No, I think Navarrete is going to walk through. Buzzsaw job, 8 rounds.
Interesting.
Yep.
I just don't know. I think Conceição is a sneaky underdog, especially paying out 8-1. They don't even have an over-under up yet on that fight, which tells me that there's something that the people can't put together on that one.
No, the bookies are never on. 8-1, you joking me? Put the fucking house on Navarrete.
I just can't. I can't. But I think what I find more odd about that, I think De Los Santos is a way bigger underdog against Shakur. He's not going to outbox Shakur like he did in his last fight. And if he comes at him, he's going to get waxed like the Japanese guy. I do not think that De Los Santos is as big of an underdog as Conceição, in my opinion. Steve, what do you think?
I was thinking about Shakur against Conceição. I agree with Rob for the record. I don't know if Navarrete smashes through him, but Conceição, man, he's a bit of a wrestler, isn't he? He'll do enough to stay in the fight, sneaky to stay in, but not to win that one. But Shakur just neutralised Conceição, wrestled him a bit, wasn't afraid to get down and dirty. I thought he would box rings around Valdez, but he stood in the pocket, picked him off. He just has a phenomenal arsenal of shots. He shows his versatility. De Los Santos, though, he is a live wire, especially early on. Stevenson's going to have to be on his game to keep control of him, because De Los Santos, as you referenced there against William Foster, he came out the blocks absolutely firing from what I can remember that fight. Had Foster in a little bit of bother, let the shots go, and then he faded quite badly, actually, because it was an 8-rounder. And I thought that's who he was. And then they put him in against Rayo Valenzuela. I think he got knocked down in the first round. Or the second round, I can't remember. And I thought, Valenzuela's going to knock him out. We know what he is. And De Los Santos come back, hurt him, and just did not let him off the hook. That's one thing. If Shakur gets hurt, he will be in trouble, because De Los Santos just throws the kitchen sink and he can absolutely bang really hard. But if it was just the Valenzuela fight, I would say Shakur has the chance to neutralise him, shut him down, outbox him, which I think he probably will, especially down the stretch. But the Adorno fight last time was interesting, because De Los Santos came out. Adorno's no world beater. Decent amateur, very skilled. We know his level by now. He's had a couple of losses, couple of draws in his record.
He's one of those guys, if he would let his hands go, he would be a far better fighter. Fuck me.
But against De Los Santos showed a different wrinkle to his game. He had the nice southpaw jab. He got Adorno on the end of it. I think he took his foot off the gas, because if he'd have put the pressure on Adorno and Adorno stood off, and he knew that if he went toe to toe and let his hands go, as you said, I think he would have got stopped against De Los Santos. He was clinging on for dear life at the end. He was tired, he was hurt. De Los Santos stood off him and opted to box. That's what his corner team were telling him to do. And I wonder whether they had maybe the Shakur fight or something in mind next time. But obviously they didn't, because Shakur was supposed to fight Frank Martin, who I'm a fan of. Not so much now. Matt Butters will agree with me. Hung Jordan quartered for Martin, pulling out of this fight, unforgivable. But De Los Santos, the PBC have sent him over. He can punch a bit. We know he can box a bit now. Have the stamina issues and the gas tank issues gone? Because if they've not, I can see Shakur just pulling away in the second half. It's all about the second half of the fight for me. From about round 8, 9, 10 onwards, Shakur, then I think he will start picking apart De Los Santos. Don't think he'll stop him. Don't think he has the power to. But De Los Santos, we know, will sell out in the fight. If he's behind or if he has a chance, he will throw a lot of shots. So that's what makes it intriguing for me. Shakur Stevenson on points. First 4, 5, 6 rounds are going to be interesting, because De Los Santos will put a lot into it. But ultimately, as I said I asked the question really on the thumbnail. Shakur is one of the futures of boxing, man. He's supremely talented. Doesn't punch that hard. A little bit conservative at times. People suggest he might be hiding a bit of glass. We don't know, but for skills and for letting the shots go, when he does let the shots go, and if you stand in range and don't do anything with him, he looks $1 million, man. He has all the talent in the world, and De Los Santos could be the man to bring it out of him. I hope so on, I'm going to say Saturday night, but Thursday night, as you've already clarified.
Yeah, Thursday night is going to be good fun. Andy, what are your thoughts on these two main fights?
Well, I've kind of like made my piece about Conspiracies in the past. I think after that Valdez fight, I think kind of like, well, I've felt anyway that he's kind of let it kind of like slip away. Obviously, you had the Shakur Stevenson fight. You got the situation with the weight. Titles weren't on the line. Well, for him, for Stevenson anyway, but he was just never in the fight really for me. So.
But he's also, Shakur Stevenson and Emmanuel Navarrete don't have the same style. I think that might be the mistake people are thinking. Oh, he's got a couple of losses, out of the last 5 or whatever it is. But none of these guys is the same style as Navarrete, and I can see him outboxing him.
I just don't think he does enough, mate. I just don't think he does enough in rounds to kind of like really rubber stamp that I'm the victor. I won the round.
You just think he could be out activity even.
Yeah, because the Valdez fight was there for him to win, and he just let it go away. I just cannot believe it. The latter half of that fight, he's dancing the Eubank. If he just let his hands go, he possibly would have won. Maybe wouldn't consider how these judges are these days and that, but you just never know. You might ask the question. So I'm fancying Navarrete in that fight, and I will probably say wide decision. Stevenson against De Los Santos. I'll definitely Stevenson to win the fight. I'm not too sure about the method yet. I probably will say late stoppage. I just think Stevenson, if he does get a bit lazy or anything like that, leaves any openings, I think De Los Santos can definitely make him think twice. If you give him an opportunity, he will cut loose. He'll throw heavy shots, head and body, so he'll need to be respected. He has got a kind of heavy KO percentage, I think, and I think he's one of Samson Likiewicz fighters and that as well, and he tends to kind of pick out, not always world beaters, but solid fighters.
I disagree. I love what Samson does, but if you look, he throws a lot of darts. He really does, and he just happens to find some good ones in the makes.
Yeah, well, he's taking a risk with this one as well. But as I say, I remember seeing the Valenzuela fight. I think both have been dropped, so maybe a wee bit of fragility there. I'm not sure about the glass comments that some people maybe throw at Stevenson. Maybe, I don't know. Just need to see him. But if he does get clipped, it'll be interesting. But I just don't see it with this fight. I just think Stevenson's skills will be too much polish for De Los Santos at this point.
Has he fought a genuine puncher?
Who, Stevenson?
Yeah.
Let me think. What would be the heaviest one? Maybe Valdez possibly would be the hardest puncher he's maybe faced.
Yeah.
Can't really think of anybody.
Trying to think of anybody else. Just give myself pull up his record here. Herring wasn't really noted a puncher. Just mentioned Nakatila was never won it outside of Namibia. Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, I would probably go with Valdez. Aye.
Yeah, that's really the only one. But,
maybe Yoshino had 75% KO ratio at that point.
At a level though, like Nakatila.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and he came forward and got chewed up. That's just the style for him to do his work was not right against Shakur.
Valdez is just shy of 75%. So yeah, we'll go with Valdez. Considering he's been at a higher level.
Okay.
Matty, just quickly, I was going to say Brian Norman. You mentioned against Randall, that'd be a decent fight. Norman came out the blocks fast when he signed as a debutant for Top Rank. He's had 19 KOs. He could get Randall out of there early, but if the longer it goes, that could get interesting. And as you said, Isley, I think that if he can't keep Hernandez off him, which there's everything to suggest he can't, that could get interesting as well. I think it's an entertaining card actually for Friday morning. I'm working from home Friday, so I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, I don't know if that. Let me see if that's an 8 or a 10. See, that's a shame that Isley Hernandez fight is an 8 rounder.
Yeah, that favors Isley. Yeah.
Yeah, if it was 10, I would definitely be thinking pretty heavily potentially towards Hernandez. But he could put on Isley could put on a fantastic boxing performance tonight. This is a real step up. That's why I like this fight. But we couldn't talk about Shakur Stevenson without giving Rob the opportunity to speak about Shakur Stevenson. Rob.
Yeah, I think next week is going to show to be a mismatch in the ring. I think Shakur has too much for him. I think he's going to dazzle, and I think he might get the stoppage after around 9 rounds. I think he's by far the best in 135. I think it's going to take a special fighter to beat him. I don't think this guy, I think he's credible, but I don't think he's near a special fighter. And I think Shakur will, with each performance over the next few fights, probably show the boxing world what he's made of. And I expect him to stop this guy.
That would be big. If he was able to stop him, I'd be thoroughly impressed with that one. So again,
and I think he might even do it to the body. Let's go there. I think he might even do it to the body. Watch.
That's not out of the realms of possibility. Given
it would be interesting.
Gas tank.
It would be interesting because see if Stevenson was to stand by him. By the way, I think it'd be a far better fight because that's where De Los Santos is. De Los Santos is. Main office is really on the inside, letting his hands go.
But you saw him against Adorno boxing too.
Yeah.
I wonder what De Los Santos will do with the holding, Andy. You know the way sometimes Shakur is prone to a bit of grabbing.
He has got the long arms and that as well. Yeah. Stevenson as well. The only thing actually as well would, I don't know how big a factor it will be after the 24-hour thing. To be honest with you, but De Los Santos is big for the weight. I think at 135. Don't know if it's just me. He definitely does look thicker, and Stevenson's only just went up to 135 in the last 12 months or something like that. So it'll be interesting to see how they look in terms of size.
I just get the hunch that this could be a stinker. I think that De Los Santos might get the idea that he can outbox Shakur, and that would make for a horribly boring fight. And Rob would not get his prediction. For Rob to get his prediction, I think that you're going to have to see De Los Santos come forward. And I think it's 50-50 on if he boxes or fights.
I feel like De Los Santos is going to feel sharp counters early in the fight, and that's going to put him off. Try to outbox Shakur, and he's going to come to just fucking wail, and that's going to play into the game plan. He's going to catch him with a lot of combinations, and I just feel like he's going to stop him to the body late, like break him down and stop him because he's too good. I just think he's too good for this fella. Like,
man, if he could get a stoppage, I'd be impressed. That's the thing. It's no joke. I rate De Los Santos. I clearly lean Shakur and quite heavily. But a stoppage would be something else.
Mm-hmm.
Andy, did you want to say something? I see you're unmuted.
No, mate. Sorry,
no worries. You're fine.
Myself. I just seen something comment in the chat. I see Terence Crawford's been stripped of the IBF belt.
Yeah, I think that's stating more that he's going to be moving in weight than anything. I don't think too much of it. And Boots is the champion now, the new email champion of the world. Is Jerome Boots Ennis, so good for him. But Steve, there's apparently an Uzbek card going on as well there, Steve.
Yes,
that one with Jalalov on it, eh?
Yes, Andy. Yeah. Jalalov is fighting Chris Thompson. We've got Kudratio Abdukakorov. He's a household name, at least in this household anyway. He's fighting Ermal Hadji Bayaj. Never heard of him, but he's fighting against Carlos Molina. I'm not sure if that's the Nancy one or the other one. Mayrim Nursultanov, 19-0, is going in against Vinny the Doorman, Vinny Fagenboots, 36-3, and an intriguing, I'm assuming, main event. Carlos Quadras, how the mighty have fallen, interim vacant WBC World Super Flyweight title against Pedro Guevara, a Mexican. So decent, that.
Is that Carlos Molina, a sex offender?
That's what I'm wondering, you see.
That is a Carlos Molina, a sex offender, eh? It is. Aye.
But he's over in Uzbek.
Then all this is happening in Uzbekistan? What
yeah,
a
exactly.
odd main event. Where is
Abdul
this Uzbek money coming from?
I don't know.
Oh, God.
Lift Promotions. I wonder if I might be on YouTube, actually. I'm going to make a see if we've got a...
I think there's a couple of fights worth a watch there, Andy, to be honest.
Well, Jalov, I think he'll smash out his opponent.
Yeah, he will. Yeah. Well, fighters to watch, maybe.
That is the bantamweight kid. Is it Mirzat Kalilov? He's an ex-Olympian, I'm sure. Nursultanov, I think he might be through the ringer as well as an amateur. And Pedro Guevara against Carlos Quadras. Fuck me, man. Guevara's he must be like pushing 40 now, mate. And Quadras fucking mere back acting and Huey Fury, man. He must be the same age.
No.
Oh man.
Especially for that weight.
What day is this on, Steve?
Friday.
Friday.
How the hell did they got a WBC title fight out there?
So ladies and gentlemen, your week is you're gonna have Tuesday action from Canada, ESPN Plus stateside. Wednesday, you're gonna have a Pro Box card available on their platforms and also on YouTube. And then on Thursday, you're gonna have the Shakur Stevenson and Emmanuel Navarrete card from Las Vegas. On Friday, you're gonna have this fucking whatever from Uzbekistan going on. And then on Saturday, you're going to have those two good cards competing against each other in the UK, plus the Diego Pacheco card in the evening. It's a pretty busy week.
Mm-hmm. Should keep us going next week anyway.
Yeah. Well, and it's day by day, so we kind of just get to take it in little by little, except for Saturday. So, gonna be a good one. We need to be taking notes, or we're gonna forget everything that we've seen.
Don't count the days, Matty. Make the days count.
Why are we getting the Stevenson fight on Thursday though? Does anybody know?
Las Vegas Grand Prix is over the weekend.
Oh, right, that would make sense.
Yep. So, anyhow, but I think we managed to cover everything in about 2 hours, Steve. So, if you want to take it for the Bellew of the Week, you rock and roll.
Well, just before Bellew of the Week, I don't know if this is Bellew of the Week material or not, but a couple of people sent this to me. This is one of Steffi Bull's fighter, Porky's mate. 15-year-old Briton, Rihanna Deforo, wins pro debut in Mexico. She went in against Milagros Hernandez Gonzalez, 39. She looks a bit sorry for herself on the right-hand side there. She couldn't fight in the UK, Miss Deforo, so she's making her debut there, Matty, at the age of 15 in Mexico. Same age as my eldest lad, man. That's bonkers, that, isn't it?
Dude, that tells you everything you need to know about the economy. Parents used to send their kid away to boarding school. Now they're sending them away to Mexico to fight.
What's the age in the UK? Is 18, eh?
18, yeah, for a license, yeah.
Fucking hell.
Yeah. Well, Gonzalez had 0 wins and 6 losses on her record, so Steffi Bull felt it was a reasonable enough opponent.
It was a risk worth taking, risk versus reward at the end of the day, mate.
She fought hard, but felt all over 39.
She probably had more risk trying any fucking Mexico than fucking fighting there.
I'm sorry. I think that's the kickoff for the Bellew of the Week. Just throw it in.
Okay, we'll throw in Rihanna Deforo for the kickoff of Bellew of the Week. Let's hope she gets out to Mexico, poor girl. Anyway, let's move on. Bellew of the Week episode.
We'll get over fucking pesos anyway. I'll tell you that much.
Bellew of the Week for episode 548. Andy's here, Matty's here, Rapping Rob Kelly is here as well. Now, Rob, I want to get your thoughts on this first one, actually. Now, I haven't watched this fight in a while. Michael Grant against Lennox Lewis. I have to admit, it's been a good 20 years or so, maybe since the night itself. But I think this YouTube channel that jumped up on my YouTube this week might be taking a bit of artistic license here with their headline, Lewis kicked a giant's ass. This monster almost killed Lennox Lewis, but seconds later, he was knocked out. This is scary, Rob. What do you make of that one?
Well, if they think Michael Grant was a fucking giant, they're going to think Shannon Briggs was fucking Godzilla, aren't they?
Did he almost kill Lennox, or am I remembering this?
It's all clickbait, isn't it? With the guys with the fucking YouTube clips, they all have the night Roy Jones turned into an alien, and it was just when he hit Glenn Kelly. You know that way. It's like
Hey,
it's
Rob,
all this clickbait.
I hope you notice that the way that this is written out, the capitalization, etc., it's the same way that stuff is written out for like all of the information you consume about COVID and stuff. I just want to point that out.
Didn't Lewis like drop him like 4 or 5 times in the
Yeah,
first round or something?
yeah,
like that?
exactly.
Fucking hell, man.
That was after
Anybody
he got
else
killed.
notice that every boxing highlight reel on YouTube has Roy Jones, y'all must have forgot, or fucking can't be stopped as the fucking underlay, and every soccer highlight is some fucking Eurodance shite.
Aye. It's always good. It's good to have capital letters and the title somewhere, destroys or massive or stacked and all that shit.
Cheap to get the rights to it, probably.
Fucking.
Probably. There was another one I saw. It wasn't this same channel, but it had about 4 million views. It was the night Mike Tyson went in against an Irish giant. And I clicked on it. I thought, who are they maybe talking about McBride in his final fight? But it wasn't. It was Mike's 12th or 13th fight, I think. California's Mike Jameson, who was 6'4", from Cupertino, California, was the fighter in question.
Sounded like he stood a real chance. I thought you were going to say Peter McNeely for a minute.
Well, yeah, exactly. Anyway, and Michael Grant, there we go. Now, we've already done this one to death, so we'll skip over it as best we can, but it's probably going to be the winner, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
The bomber. We'll never forget. Going into the jungle. Oh, my God, man. I mean, where do you even start, Andy? We've pretty much said it all, haven't we?
I've said it all, mate. As I say, I think we should just, I'm up for it. If everybody else, all the listeners, spread it far and wide, get on your tweets, get on whatever it is you got to do to get the word out. When it comes time for voting, just think about it's only a couple of quid. Right? It's only a couple of quid.
We wanted him to disappear into the jungle, but not with cameras.
Well, Tim, official Dermo, he'll never forget. He fished this one out. This was the tweet, apparently, a week after the bomber went out against Usyk. It said, Tony Bellew says he will be changing his mobile phone number next week and his new one will stay secret. An emotional character, he has told his great friend and boxing promoter Eddie Hearn that they will never see each other again after this weekend. This is because he wants to slip out of the limelight after Saturday's massive fight against the brilliant Alexander Usyk in Manchester, having insisted he is more or less done with boxing.
Oh, I tell you what, see the mobile phone numbers, I'm going to be buying numbers or fucking mobile phone cards over the course of this show, by we just text for Tony. That's what we need to do. That's what hashtag text for Tony.
Oh, dear.
Those were the days.
Prince Patel weighed in. He said, remember when this skid mark said when he's done with boxing, no one will ever see him again? Laugh face, laugh face.
So are we all just putting this like into the joint Tony on the show nomination?
So, yeah.
Okay.
This is all Tony.
The Tony Award.
This is all the Tony Award, exactly. Alicia Baumgardner tweeted out, what you may not realise is that my supporters understand who I am as an athlete and where I came from. She's talking about the drug test. Many have followed me for years. They've seen me eat. They've seen me train. They've watched me fight. They've seen me up and they've seen me down. My real supporters, Richard Poxon said, Alicia, I'm a supporter. And as a supporter, could I ask how you think those PEDs got in your system? Brian King jumped in and said, Ben left it in her. And Poxon said, that's maybe a bit too far.
Knew I didn't like that Ben for a reason.
Didn't he?
So you're saying his eggs got with her eggs. I don't know what's happening.
I had to meet myself at coffee, man.
Yeah, I mean, if to be fair, if he was able to pull Alicia Baumgardner, I think both Rob and I would give Conor Benn more respect than currently.
My issue is this, though. Why should no use that excuse yet?
Because why would anyone admit to fucking Conor Benn?
Well, in the end of the day, if he's going to get you off a drug charge, and do it.
Because she's too busy making Instagram reels, talking about herself in the third person. Like, I know it's hard to believe I'm the sexiest fighter of all time. I'm like, all right, we agree. Like, but can we just fucking get past the drug test? Like, fuck me.
Oh dear. We better just interrupt this Bellew of the Week quickly for a brief interlude. First, it was Floyd doing the advertisements. We've seen AJ doing a few as well, Eddie Hearn and whoever else. But Spencer Oliver's getting in on the scene. Spencer Oliver's
Fury as well, man. He's doing all the Spanish stuff.
Fury with the Spanish properties. We saw Tyson selling off whatever he was selling, those the energy bars or whatever. But Spencer Oliver's here as well. One of the boys sent me this during the week.
I've been stranded on the side of a motorway with a broken down car. Like me, is that something that worries you? That's where motor breakdown insurance comes in. If your vehicle breaks down, a trained professional will be sent out to get you back on the road. Or if this is not possible within the specified time frame, to transport you to your home or to the nearest garage.
I tell you what, I'll be doing Mr. Oliver. I would just join the fucking AA. Didn't you worry about that? Okay, hell.
If I was the guy who had to come pick him up, I'd just tie a rope to his bike and say, "All right, man, be heavy on the brakes." I don't know what's worse between him and Jamie Oliver. Like between the Olivers, what's worse?
He's doing his best, old Spencer. He's loving life, isn't he?
Fucking time to back a truck like the Somali used to do, by the way. Fucking drag him through the streets.
Diamante could use some of that motor insurance.
The insurance company will touch him because of the human cannonball.
Yeah, Andy, I see those videos like you speak of, and all they make me think is, God damn it, I wish you could get a Toyota Hilux in the United States.
Oh dear. Moving on. KSI news: DAZN have released their top 5 fighters pound for pound in the crossover boxing scene. We've got Salt Pappy coming in at number 5. We've got KSI at number 4. Anthony Taylor at 3. Jake Paul at 2. And Tommy Fury at number 1. The Latvian electrician there, Matty, sent that one into us. What do you think about the crossover, the Misfits pound for pound top 5?
And Tommy Fury really wants to leave this for legitimate boxing. I don't know.
Noel Brook. Joke.
Yeah. Or what, that big fat guy with the belly hanging over his shorts? I don't have to speak.
Razor Ruddock?
Bitcoin Rodney.
Bitcoin Rodney, exactly. Yeah. Why are these guys not in the list? Razor Ruddock and James Toney, man. I tell you what, though, a lot of people...
they're on the list, Steve, because everybody thought they were dead. That's why.
A lot of people say about Toney, his speech has really sort of got worse, and it's got he sounds terrible and that, and then other people always say, oh, he always sounded like that. But I actually saw a clip during the week of him trash talking with Mike McCallum, and you could understand every word perfectly. He sounded brilliant compared to what he does now. There is definitely been.
I can remember when he was on that ITV show the night before Eubank Ben rematch.
That's right.
And he's trash talking Ben and Eubank live on British television.
Well, you British fighters punks.
Eubank about evacuated his bowels live on television, man. I don't like you, man.
That's right, Mickey Rourke. Yeah, that's
what a bizarre lineup. Jonathan Ross, Chris Eubank, Nigel Benn, Mickey Rourke, and James Toney. He was like, English fighters drinking tea. Drinking tea.
Yeah, there's so many negatives about this, but let's at least take the positive that Razor Ruddock probably finally made enough money so that him and his baby can get out of the city.
Well, Razor Ruddock, we hope and pray that he's going to be okay. I forgot to mention this one earlier, actually, about the Butayev fight. I did mention about your man, Faig Naburov, coming up in weight. I mean, that's pretty...
Shouldn't you say coming up in weight, mate? He'll have like stilts on his feet or something like that.
That's brutal, that, isn't it?
Jesus. But you said Butayev went a distance with this guy?
No, he's retired in about 4 rounds.
Oh, right, that's better. That's all right.
After the fight, his opponent went up on him.
You can tell Butayev looked at him and said, I'm going to fucking smash you.
He's like when you have one of the good under 11s and he's playing for the under 14s, isn't it? Like
exactly.
Look at the wee man, he's like, oh, fucking hell.
I know. He did his best. He tried his best. Cedric Sniff makes a good point there. He said you wouldn't know that Toney was such a great defensive fighter listening to him speak. But I suppose, Andy, ultimately, it was his inability to... He couldn't make weight, his inability to just know when he was done as a fighter. And fighting heavyweights, taking heavyweight shots, ultimately, as Cedric, I'm sure, will agree that.
Plus, mate, all that heavy sparring back in the day as well.
And he was in some gym wars, man. Those guys that era, fuck me.
As you said, mate, he the weight issue alone, but how he got the weight off was simply to go in the ring and fucking spar, mate. That's all he did, was spar and eat and fight. And
catches up on you eventually.
It does eventually, mate. You say taking the heavyweight shots and that type of thing. As great a defensive fighter it was, he did ride a lot of those shots, and they still fucking count at the end of the day. You're still taking punishment.
You're getting hit in the fucking head.
Yeah, like, even if you're blocking them with your gloves, it's rattling your brain. Yeah,
still jolting you. You're still taking body shots and that. Fighting Jiroff. Okay, great moments in boxing, but the fuckers, poor bastards pay the fucking price.
Can't wait to see him fight IQ.
How many fights has he had
in the Bahamas next week?
I know.
Oh man! Oh
Probably
god!
still in prison. But
Right, the return
what's
of the president. No, I think he's out.
Oh,
Yeah,
but he's
he's
probably
out, I
back in.
think.
He's probably
Oh,
back
God.
in there or something like that.
Let me check. But Tony must have had about 60.
He must have had about 80 odd fights or something like that. No, it must be well in the
Oh, no,
80s.
even. Oh, you're right enough. Yeah, flip
He
me.
was like-
92? My
What?
God.
Yeah, he was like
92.
73 and something, wasn't he?
77, 10, and 3.
There you go.
That's crazy. He's 55.
Fucking hell, man. And he went on too long in that. Remember the time, that's the other thing as well, with the board licensed him to fight in a fucking 3-round prize fighter.
Ah.
Who beat him in that? Like Jason Gavin or something like
Matt
that?
Legg, I think it was.
There
Wasn't
he- yeah.
He does videos on YouTube there about gangsters and like bare knuckle
Who,
fights
James
and
Toney?
stuff. No, well, he should be doing that. Matt Legg.
How did James Toney get a license? He went on ringside with fucking Bean and Johnny Nelson, and they were showing him a fucking highlight reel of Roy Jones giving him props. It was like, hardest ever fight, James Toney. And then they were like, what do you think about Roy has to say about you, James? James like, ooh, Roy think he tough. Like, coming up on Saturday night, James, in a contest you might want to tune into. I said, fuck me.
It makes me think it reminds me Doug Stanhope had a bit where he talked about going to a show that Jake LaMotta's wife put on, and she was like 25 30 years his junior, maybe a little bit more, and he was like mid 80s at the time, and
Probably slapped the shit out of her as well.
and so like he kept forgetting his lines, and he kept he was standing up, and he kept and over again, like, and he was only supposed to say it once, but he kept saying, I fought Sugar Ray so many times it gave me diabetes, but he just kept saying it over and over again. He didn't have a fucking clue what was going on.
That's a great thing. See if you can find an old folks home that's got, just purely just deals with dementia. Walk in as a comedian, just tell the same joke 10 times and walk out. We'll fucking laugh each time, man.
For fuck's sake. Oh, dear me. Anyway, Tim Boxeo's back in the game, and so is
I
Saul
noticed
Power. Friday night in his hometown of Beni, Bolivia, the heavyweight Saul El Phoenix Assassino returned to action to decision dangerous challenger Ricardo Pidieco Angulo in the heavyweight main event. Round placards were left behind, so the ring card girls improvised. And there she is.
Fuck off, man.
Are you sure that's from, or is it a mime class and she's delivering a pizza?
Fuck off, dog. I guess if you're in the middle of fucking Peru, you could fucking improvise yourself and visualize your own fucking placards, couldn't you?
Tim Boxeo's wife. Is she going to be back anytime soon, Rob? After this kind of content.
He's going to Photoshop in a fucking your one holding a sign saying, "Baby, come back."
How many times had All Phoenix Essential fucking fight that guy? That the 15th time they faced each other.
I don't know, actually, to be honest.
Yeah,
I don't
this is
recognise
the
that
content
name.
we need. This is the content we need.
We'll try and find that out, shall we? Dave Caldwell put this up. I'm not sure where it was on the DAZN card last night, but
Sorry,
Dave Caldwell. Yep, go ahead, Matty.
Just that Johnny comment. Took me back to the day. Said, is Tony still calling out the Bitchko sisters and David Gay? It just takes me back to his trash talk.
Takes me back to Gabe. Keith woman. What was the other one? What was the other one he used to come off with? Can't remember now.
Queef woman.
Queef woman was one of them. David Pepe Le Pew, wasn't he?
David LePew.
David
or LePew, whatever it was.
I miss that guy, man. Speaking of diabetes.
Yeah, shout out to Gabe. Speaking of diabetes, Dave Caldwell says when you need to get that Nando's delivery order in. I'm not sure who this was in the corner. This dude was doing his corner work on DAZN while he was on
Probably
the
the wife asked me he's going to be him. I need help with his kids, man. Try to get him to bed. I've been on my feet all day, stirring the mince and stuff.
She said, you said the main event was going to be on at 10:30.
But it's a fucking Frank Warren show, pal. Sorry. I'll be home about 3 o'clock. Just put my dinner in the oven for me. I'll get it when I come home.
Dude phoning it in, man. I like that one. That was a good one. Here we are, Andy. News last week that the AJ Wilder fight was off. Could have been premature. AJ and Wilder in talks for separate fights in Saudi.
I knew Eddie would get this into me. I knew Eddie would sort it out.
Separate fights, though. Are you happy to see them in separate fights?
Not really, no. I mean, some of the names I've been seeing for that card in Saudi, man, I'm like, fucking really? I mean, unless it's these two fighting, for example, or Fury Usyk and that, then what's the fucking point? Who wants to see Was it Deontay Wilder against Joseph Parker? Who the fuck wants to see that shite? Yeah. Parker's had his time. We've seen that. But we've been through all that crap.
I would imagine that people who really hate New Zealanders might really want to see that fight.
Well,
that
fucking
could be the
stick
niche
him in with Australian then or something like that, or a South African.
I don't know what like the if there's any place like where they hate New Zealand and Australia and South Africa.
They can get a bit heated when it gets to sports and that, aye.
Huh.
Yeah. Especially the Aussies and that, like. I mean, I can remember the New Zealanders doing that fucking haka, and the Aussies like marched right in their faces as this is like the under 23s, and the Aussies marched right in their fucking faces as they're doing this fucking routine, and then they do the whole shit just kicked off. They started fucking throwing punches. It's quality shit, like.
Parker seems like a decent guy, but how has someone so mediocre been able to get so many big multi-million-dollar opportunities?
And get Burger King commercials and sponsorships and that, and titles off them, mate. I mean, he's had his money. He's had his Joshua fight. He's, you know...
He was exciting early in his career. Do you remember when he fought the likes of the Cam and he had no gas tank and there was a chance that he could have got that
at a decent level? And then Andy Ruiz kind of exposed that gas tank a little bit doing that back half of that fight.
That's a good fight, actually.
And then I forget who he won the belt against. Was it against Ruiz?
It was against Ruiz. It was a tight fight, but I thought he just about did.
I thought he won it, but it was a fight of two halves, definitely. And then obviously a couple of defenses, and he fought Joshua and dialed that shite right in.
Yeah,
right in, man. And then obviously he almost knocked it. Was it Dillian White, I think?
Ref wouldn't let him fight the night of the fucking Joshua
fight. The ref was terrible. Was that Italian guy? Was nothing.
No, was it Baravecchio? Was it?
He was either Baravecchio or that or the other Italian. Was it Corterone? I think it was Baravecchio, Andy.
Yeah, that rat.
Anyway, Chris Eubank. Good morning. Who's next? Chris Eubank sporting his sheriff's badge last night at. He's put Seb's fight. I thought he meant Harlem's fight, to be honest with you. A bit of a typo there. Anyway, Eubank was talking on the mic. I'm not really sure what he's going on about, Matty.
Like the law of Dandytown, USA.
Yeah. Well, listen, this is what Eubank had to say after the fight. Chris Senior, that is.
What I'll say is, I'm going to remain the gentleman and just say this. Yeah, it's time, dreadlocks. You have a fight. You have to stop run, dreadlocks. You can't run no more. Oh, sorry, that was my mother's tongue. It's time to actually enter the cauldron. It's time.
Who's you talking to there, by the way?
Why is he fucking wearing that sheriff's badge, Stephen?
He's a sheriff. Did you know that, Rob? Who's he talking to there? Nobody knows.
Who's he arresting? Little John? What the fuck?
He's off his head, isn't he, man? He's a strange guy, says Will You Stand 86, absolutely.
What was his mother's tongue? Is it Jamaican? I thought,
must have been, yeah.
Fucking Gareth A. Davis needs to teach him how to speak Jamaican then.
Here we are, hang on, Andy.
I mean, you were literally fighting every month before you fought Joe Frazier in Kingston, Jamaica.
The gad. Oh, it wouldn't be the same without him. Right, what else have we got here on the list? Literally in some cases. Oh, yeah. Don't know if you saw this one, Andy. Craig Derbyshire, 8-29-4, is fighting for the Commonwealth title in the Cayman Islands. Never mind the car park. Dennis Hobson's got them out to the resorts for the Commonwealth 29.
Who's he fighting for that shite?
Matt Windle, I think you call him. From hang on, let me see. Where's Matt?
I'm just going to bring it up. Oh, it's no listed on Box Rate, mate.
No, it's not listed on Box Rate at the moment, but apparently is it Windle? Yeah, I think it is. Here we are. Matt Windle, 7-5-1 from Birmingham, apparently. The Matt Man, they're going out to the Cayman Islands anyway for a jolly, so good luck to them, I say.
See, he fought out there. I tell you what, he lost in the vacant title fight for that same belt there in February out in Malta.
A lot of things not listed in the Cayman Islands.
How the hell are they getting
Black
like
Book
that to fight there? Like, what the fuck is the deal? How much? Like, are they just getting an all expenses paid trip? Like, is that the deal? Like,
don't think they're too tough on the old taxation over there. Or they were going to be doing a Fraser Clark here. All right, probably robbing him.
Oh, fucking
oh, here's Chukwu, just in time. They are Chukwu. I'm here.
The Cayman Islands, man. I mean, it'll probably cost you more to fly out there than what you'll get paid to fucking fight. You know what I'm saying? Especially Craig Derbyshire, the greatest respects, like, you know, 8-29-4. I'm not expecting you're going to be earning fucking $100,000 for this fight, mate. But
you reckon Craig Derbyshire, when he goes to fucking the Cayman Islands, is like when Callum Smith went to Mexico? Like, he just can't walk down the street. People are mobbing him.
Well, here, fucking, look at this guy. I'm fucking paint him out walking down the street here.
Good luck to Craig whenever that fight happens, if indeed it does.
Yeah.
He's back again. We mentioned this last week. Never thought I could call myself a model, says Big John. Massive thanks to everyone at Bad Rhino. I was a regular customer buying their clothes. Now I'm an ambassador. And someone, Matty, didn't they, in the Nutters group, mentioned the little head a la Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
They're bad bastards, aren't they?
That's some quality work right there.
Fuck off. Pretty mad.
Joe Gallagher might be outside, Nick. Go check.
His head is, I mean, to be fair, his head's probably about the size of his knee.
I've been saying this for long enough, by the way. Like, the head just doesn't fit in that body, man.
Which tells you should probably lose some fucking weight.
What
we guessing here, by the way? What we guessing here? 21 stone.
Oh, fuck me. I'd say more than that.
Yeah, to go.
Well, it's 14 pounds in a stone. So he's over $3 bills. He's over $3 bills.
I want to see him get up. I want to see him roll. Yeah, try and get up off a flare for the line on his back. Seriously, man.
About 28 stone, I reckon easily.
Time him to see how long it takes him to get up.
Well, we wish him well. We also wish well.
30 stones and so many chicken balls.
No, exactly. He loves the chicken ball, does Big John. There's no chicken balls, but maybe a bit of echo falls last night. Tyan Booth was back in the ring. Apparently, this was a thing on the internet on Boxing King Media. A lot of people keep saying, you're going to talk about the Tyan Booth fight. Not until Bellew of the week, because that's all it's worthy for. Let's have a look at the clip now. I'm not sure if we're allowed to play this or not, but we'll just play it anyway. This is the moment it all ended. The quick-fire KO ending for Tyan Booth.
An impact.
Yeah,
when
I
he's
agree.
When he's not throwing, he's not really doing much. Lots of holding here, and I think the ref's trying to stop him.
Having a little bit of a struggle here.
Booth's got to be careful here, because what could happen, get himself disqualified here.
I mean,
So he's already had
the ref
one.
is looking very, very annoyed here.
He's already had, and he's getting out. Oh, that's interesting. So that's the end of the fight. So I don't really understand now what's happened. I know Charles is sat in there laughing and almost gouging him and shouting things to him, and Booth has got out the ring and walked off. Interesting end to...
I don't think the referee made any decision then either. Or,
no.
You know, it's...
I don't think...
I think he was kneeing him in the bollocks and everything, though.
A bit bizarre, wasn't it, that?
Yeah, he's a weirdo with a stupid name. It
I think he was fighting. Or back fighting, to be fair.
It's almost as if he was looking for a way out there. So I jumped out the ring. No, listen, I like Tyan Booth, man. At the start and everything, I fucking love this content. I thought he was really, really good.
Great.
And I felt like he was kind of sharp and on point. And as things have unfolded over the years, I've figured out that I don't really think he's playing a character. That's just him, you know, that way.
Yes.
And I wasn't in on the joke, you know, that way. So it's evolved the way it's evolved. He's wanted to get off the drink and that, hasn't he? So he's gone back and had a fight, but obviously he has fucking not lived the life of a fighter for a while. And maybe he, as a guy who ran Eubank close and by all accounts probably had more talent than Eubank Jr. at a certain time in his career, he maybe didn't want to go out on the flat of his back to a guy who's probably never had I don't know who that fucking guy he was fighting was, but like he probably didn't want to get knocked out by that guy, like, and he just walked out, obviously, didn't he? Like, but
his greatest moment was that one of the condoms with a meth head.
Yeah, he's had some dark shit like that. You know, he was funny at a up to a point, and then some of the stuff was like borderline or whatever. But like, you know, best of luck to him. I hope he makes a few quid out of that. Like, but didn't look good. Did it? I don't know what was going on there, but it wasn't nice.
No, it was BWCB or something. It was, well, to call it unlicensed would even be doing it disservice, Andy. I actually tuned in to one of the fights on the undercard, and oh my god, it was horrific.
What was it, YouTube like? It
was on YouTube, yeah, Boxing King Media's channel. Someone put a link up on the Nutters group, I think, and I clicked into one of the undercard.
So was it like unlicensed fighting or just like?
Yeah, it was just it was like white collar, effectively. I don't know who the guy was he was fighting, but the two undercard fighters were horrific. Like,
yeah, dear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no,
His next video will be interesting, especially the comment section.
Yeah. Well, I thought early on he was quite clever in the stuff he was putting together. Those short before his YouTube channel got iced. I haven't watched it since he's come back, to be honest with you. But I don't know. I've said before, Andy. Whenever you do that type of controversial comedy, there's only one place. You have to keep getting more controversial over time, otherwise people.
Or you got to maintain it.
Yeah, and then you start saying some proper shocking things to try and up that shock level. It can only end badly, that type of approach, I think.
And let me tell you something. He has fucking produced an offset of fucking people who want to be like him, who are pushing the boundaries even more, and it's a right cesspit. Let me tell you. I don't even you won't even go into it on air because I wouldn't give him that shot. Like, but some real fucking depraved shit, like on YouTube as well, flying around. Like, but yeah. Anyway, best of luck to him. We say.
Yeah. Hopefully he sorts himself out. Right, that's all the ones that I've got. Any nominations from you this week, please, Andy?
Nothing this week, I don't think, mate. Trying to think now off the top of my head. No, don't think so. Eddie, that's been kind of quiet.
Bellew's been quiet, but then he's always quiet, isn't he?
Yeah, well, you can't find Bellew these days, mate. I don't know what he's up to at all. I don't know what his future plans are or anything like that. So he's keeping a quiet profile. That's what he promised us that he was going to do, mate. So that's good to see.
Yeah. No problem. Nothing from Andy, nothing from Ozzy, anything from you, Matty?
Yeah, I was just going to like the whole Toney Ruddock thing, but I mean, we already touched on that. I just don't know how the fuck that's happening in 2023, but here we are.
Here we are indeed to talk about it. Rob, anything from you?
Hold on, we see what the dog says. What's that? Tony Bellew's in the jungle.
He seems excited about it.
And you want us to leave him there?
Oh dear. Right, let's go over them then and we'll make our picks. So first of all, we had the bullshit clickbait. We had Toney going into the jungle. It's going to be hard to beat that. He's changing his number, apparently. Not quick enough for Prince Patel, who was on top of him. Richard Poxon, Baumgartner and Brian King ended in a threesome nobody wanted to see. KSI News was also nominated. As Matty said, we had Toney against Razor Ruddock. Bit of a mismatch there over in Russia. Who's going to tell them? Tim Boxeo's back in the game just in time for this. This is the content he's been bringing to us for many years now. Dave Calder with this on the phone when you need to get that Nando's delivery order in. AJ Wilder are set for separate fights. It's going to happen. We had Chris Eubank Sr. as well talking nonsense. We had Craig Derbyshire going out to the Cayman Islands. We had Big John as well with his Beetlejuice head and a few videos. We had Chris. We played Tyan Booth as well right at the end there, quitting O'Hara Davis, his nemesis, and also Spencer Oliver and the Gad on the ad. There you go, Andy. Who are you going for this week, episode 148?
I'm going to go for Spencer Oliver in the ad, mate, because why would you? Why would you sign up for that crap? Why would you sign up for the AA instead? More reliable, probably. So I didn't want to vote for Bellew for his own Toney Award. Too easy.
Spencer, then.
Spencer Oliver, mate.
Spencer for Andy. Who are you going for this week, Matty?
It's got to be the bulk of work from Toney. Come on.
It's got to be Toney, hasn't it? That's who I'm going for.
Nice try, Andy. Nice try.
It's too easy to vote for Toney, though, man.
He's going to the jungle. We're not going to see him for a few months. Let's give him a going away gift.
He's only going for 6 weeks. Is it 6 weeks?
I don't know.
Well, it'll feel like 3 months not having him at the announce table and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Rob, who are you going for this week, please?
It's a thin line between love and hate, and it's a thin line between Toney the Bomber Bellew in the jungle and Tyan Booth walking out the ring and spitting at a guy on the way out. Like, what? Maybe. Look, it's fucking Bellew of the Week is the title of the fucking segment. And Toney Bellew is in I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of the Jungle. But somehow in 2023, coming towards 20, nobody really gives a fuck, do they? About what Toney Bellew is doing, whether he's in the jungle or not. Like,
By the way,
I'm gonna go for Tyan for that one. Like,
just say out
of calling O'Hara Davis the Black Twitter and then quit. Like,
I was gonna say that.
I'm just saying, like, you've got Toney Bellew and Nigel Farage out of the country. Is this not the real Brexit that we all wanted?
Well, they're not in his country. He doesn't care.
But in fact, Matty, we're actually in one of our dominions actually as well, Australia. So, so I say as well, 9 p.m. start next Sunday, so we can maybe do a live broadcast next Sunday, boys.
Oh, they are.
That.
Keep us updated in the chat about the Bombers' whereabouts. What he's up to, what he's doing.
It'll be the grand entrance, so they'll be coming in helicopters and having to kind of like fucking do a orienteering type fucking thing up to base camp and all that fucking crap that they've got to go and do. Maybe throw Toney out a helicopter into a shark-infested sea. We can hope, Maybe Nigel Farage gets fucking fed to a snake like an anaconda or something like that. Pay-per-view, man. This is pay-per-view, but no ITV Council television, you know what I'm saying?
I will use Stan says, please let Bellew rant about Boxing Asylum on the celeb.
Oh, but brilliant with it. It would be tremendous. Can you imagine?
Jamie Lynn Spears would be spewing, man. She fucking loves Maddie. She'd be fucking...
let's just check to see these other contestants. I'm going to see who's this Marvin. Who?
I'm
Marvin.
fucking
What's his name?
Congenial. That's what I'm saying.
Marvin Humes.
Marvin Humes. Let's check this motherfucker.
Here we are. Oh, he's
Rob
best known as a member
band.
of the four-piece boy band JLS. There you go.
Oh, I see. He's a son of a Jamaican father and a Scottish
I knew
mother.
about
They
that.
fucking
Do it. It's the same guy.
Had to be a bit Scottish about him.
Docs around here, but still.
Yeah. Nick Picard, who's that? He is.
Check him out the note.
He was in the Channel 4 soap opera Hollyoaks. Fucking hell, they're proper scraping the barrel, aren't they,
he's
man?
got
My
turkey
God.
teeth, probably. Turkey teeth, I'd imagine.
Yeah. Who's Danielle Harold? Let's see. She is an English actress. She was in EastEnders.
Don't know.
Christ. Sam Thompson.
Who's Fred Durex? Oh, sorry, Sirex.
Sorry. We said
he invented the condoms.
Yeah, in First Dates, wasn't he?
First Dates, right.
Sam Thompson.
Grace Dent. Let's check this.
Sam Thompson does a podcast called Staying Relevant.
Oh, Grace. Did you hear this one? Grace Dent is an English columnist, broadcaster, and author. She's also a restaurant critic. Boring.
Oh yeah, I think she writes for the Guardian, doesn't she? Actually, yeah, I know her.
She needs to be voted out at the first opportunity.
How do you like the taste of this tree larva?
Hang on, we've got two more.
Tell you what about tree lava, mate.
We've got Nella Rose. Nella Rose is...
Who we expecting to come in for as a surprise guest coming in like so halfway through?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't know they did that.
Someone has to carry on films.
Kenny Dalglish.
Adonis Stevenson. Kenny Dalglish.
Jackie Chan.
Frank Warren.
Adonis Stevenson.
A member of ISIS.
Oh dear. We've got Nella Rose. Anyway, let's close this up. She's an iconic, much loved influencer. Well, she's not much loved by me because I haven't heard of her before. And Josie Gibson.
Iconic. Huh?
She's iconic, Matty. Don't you know? Fit me, Nella Rose, man.
Oh, well, there you go. I learned
Josie Gibson. She's had a bit of work done. She is a regular guest host on OK TV and was in Big Brother.
Did you ever overthink shit like me and then think like, say if someone like in a desperate scenario they put like a fucking machine gun to your head and they were like, tell us who these people are, or we're going to fucking blow your head off. I would just fucking go for it, man. I'm going to fucking kill Josie Dent is or fucking Grace Dower, these people.
You would literally be begging, please, sir, don't put me lie detector test. I don't know anybody. Please.
As long as there's no children involved, those people are fucked.
I could tell you Bellew struggled against Oval Mackenzie early, but other than that, fucking just pull the trigger, man.
Yeah, there's someone said about putting Nathan Cleverly. Fucking hell, that'd be class.
In there. Drop him in. Like Rambo, man. Just fucking drop him into the jungle. Fucking.
Yeah.
By parachute.
Yeah. Clev, tell us your views on abortion.
Go around handing out condoms in the jungle. Fuck.
I would watch it if Cleverly got it. Honestly,
oh man, if Clev got in there, it'd be absolutely unbelievable.
I bet you when Cleverly walk about with his cock out, man, I guarantee you would, man. I'll get the biggest cock inside the hemisphere, by the way.
That's the fucking rematch we want. Put him in the jungle. Let's get it on. The rumble in the jungle. Come on.
100%, man.
Dude, that's the third fight we need to watch by
Cleverly. Bellew 3 in the jungle. Come on, for fuck's sake.
I would love it.
Can you imagine
Clever and his missus, says Johnny.
Can you imagine Cleverly trying to roll a joint in the fucking jungle, man? He'd be fucking smoking fucking bits of trees and everything trying to get high.
Imagine he says, "Let's do it right now, you fucking rat," to an actual rat out in the jungle. Like, imagine.
The rat with the fandom.
Oh my gosh! Right, let's close this up quickly.
Cleverly Bellew in the jungle. Oh.
Brilliant. Bellew's won anyway. Congratulations.
As Manny Stewart would say, you dream of fucking situations like this, but really they live up to expectations.
Wrap it up, lads, says James. Here we are. We're going to have to wrap it up now,
Oh,
James.
James, put a fucking fiver in for that. We can wrap it up. We want to go for another hour. Asshole.
I think he's recommending that for all the guys on the island.
Going to go to 11 o'clock just to spite him. Congratulations,
Tony. That, right, I met Westwood once, and he gave me a condom, and it said it was a Westwood brand condom, which hasn't aged greatly considering the allegations against him. But it said, "Wrap it up before you strap it up." So I think that's good advice to take us out of here.
For fuck's sake. You don't need advice off Westwood, Rob, I don't think. Oh dear, we're going to get struck for this one, aren't we? Anyway, congratulations, Tony. The episode.
You wouldn't have to wrap it up when you strap it up. If you just practice basic hygiene with your dildos.
Right, that's the end of Bellew of the Week, episode 548. Lovely. Super chat. Yes, we did. David Palmer's disappeared. I'll just mention it.
Get out of here before you read Cedric Stimp's comment.
What's he say? Steve wants to look at Aboriginal brothers. Yeah, I know we're going long, Matty, but one of the boys put this in the chat during the week, and I was going to play it as part of Bellew of the Week, or maybe keep it. But before, I am going now. Trust me, I'll play this, and then you can take back over again. This is Bunsey. I haven't played this one in a while, but this is classic Bunsey.
You saw what the Germans do. Just think now, what's flooding out now? I know we've got to go to a break. Flooding out now, not onto the streets of Berlin, into an enormous tent pitched somewhere near the arena where people have paid €100 or more. There'll be about 5, 6, 7,000 people partying. Pussycat Girls over here singing, another band over there.
Pussycat Dolls, Steve. Pussycat Dolls. You're not down with
the kids.
But
they are girls, aren't they? You know what I'm saying? Although the one at the end did look a bit like a tranny, but that's not here nor there, Andy.
Steve Bunsby found something that you don't know about. Boxing, you're there. Football, you're there. Pussycat Dolls, it's not happened. I tell you what, we are excited about.
So hold on. Why? I guess that was probably like 2005, 2007-ish. Why the fuck does the quality look like he's on a 1980s episode of Doctor Who?
That was under definition back in them days.
That's when most people still had dial-up internet, so it was like knees in the morning time trying to get up out of bed.
Be careful, you know, all sex hotline.
This is it. Shout out Charmaine Sinclair. All right, Dominic.
Oh, Steve, is it over to me now? Is it?
Yes, I've got nothing left to offer.
Was that the transition? Is that the transition?
Who won it again?
Bellew won it. Me and Matty voted for Bellew. Yeah.
Thanks to Ricky and David Palmer for kicking that in. I think David Palmer might really be regretting it as of right now, but we appreciate it anyways. You can always just dispute that with your credit card company. I'd like to thank everybody for coming on. Steve, Rob, and Andy. I've been your host, Matty John Ardo. And we will be with you guys next week, and we're going to have some good stuff next week. We're going to be going over all this stuff that we previewed today. And on top of that, we are going to also be previewing the David Benavidez-Demetrius Andrade fight, as well as the rematch between Katie Taylor and Chantel Cameron. So I hope that you folks will join us next Sunday. Until then, you folks take care. We'll see you next week.
We'll never forget.
I think that's good happening.
Go to Adam Booth!
We want to be honest, yeah?
Crying like a little bitch. I've never met a fucking soul that can fight me.
I fell asleep.
You're a fucking bum, you're a fucking asshole.
Rumple fucking Stiltskin.
But allegedly, Oscar Rivas has failed a test.
7 year ain't it? 7 year ain't it? I will fucking smash fucking you.
I hope you fucking die.
Be safe.
I
I love boxing sounds. Simple as that.